Hello there, and welcome back to Fun with Flags in History. I'm your host Frank, and today I have a very special video planned for you guys, because as you can tell, I'm not necessarily in my normal work environment. This is because I pre-recorded this video prior to this video dropping, far before then. So the reason why this video is pre-recorded is because I am not going to be available to record anything for the next couple of days. And this is because I'm celebrating my 21st birthday. And yes, even I have days off. It happens. But I guess to not only celebrate my 21st birthday, but to also kind of give back to my subscribers, the few that I have, of course, which, by the way, thank you for subscribing. I do greatly appreciate that. I decided to release a video that I think would be really cool for you guys. It's not my normal kind of history video, but it does have some history with it, and I do think it's really cool. Because not only did it happen on my birthday 30 years ago today, as of recording this video, but it happened in my hometown of Chicago, which makes it even more cool, given the history of Chicago and also the connections it has in this sense, and you'll see why. So what I have for you guys today is a video of a hockey game that happened September 7th, 1991, same year that the Soviet Union collapsed and dissolved. Prior to that, of course, and it's a hockey game between the United States and the Soviet Union. I believe it was for the Canadian Cup, but I could be wrong, because obviously I am not a hockey fan, because it's not really my forte. But now that I've given you some context as to what this footage is, as to what I'm presenting here, I figured without much me talking, I guess I'll present the footage. But of course, if you appreciate my channel, I guess if you want to do something for my birthday, be sure to give me a like if you appreciate this video, if you like it. Comment your thoughts down below, what you'd like to see in this channel. Obviously, I read your comments all the time, so I gladly appreciate you guys commenting and giving your opinions and thoughts on things. I would also, if you want to really support the channel the best way, you can click the subscribe button, because that is the best way to support my channel, and because I do this completely for free. I don't make money off of this, I don't run ads, don't do anything. I do this purely out of my own free time. So clicking the subscribe button and clicking the notification bell so you'd be the first to know when my content drops will be the greatest way to support my channel. But anyways, without further ado, here is the September 7th, 1991 hockey game between the United States and the Soviet Union. This is Frank with Fun with Flags in History, prematurely signing off. Enjoy yourselves and have a good one.
The 1991 Labatt Canada Cup is brought to you by Labatt's Blue. Now you're laughing. Tonight from Chicago Stadium, Team USA beats the Soviet Union. Historically, the United States has never had a great deal of success against the Soviets in Canada Cup play. 4 times they've met, 4 times the Soviets have won. That may change tonight. The U.S. is on a bit of a roll. Plus, the big factor, the Chicago Stadium ice surface, not as big as the Soviets are used to wheeling and dealing on it.
No, I don't think any of the European teams are used to this yet, Jigs. But, you know, they're still the Soviets. They still do all of the fundamentals very well. They can't handle the puck, shoot it, pass it. But the United States is on a high. They are on a roll, and they've played some pretty good hockey.
Soviets won their last game. So did the United States, as Ed alluded to. The other night in Detroit, a 4-2 victory over Czechoslovakia. Pat LaFontaine got it all started.
He did early in the hockey game exactly what the United States needed. Get the jitters out, and they kept pouring it on. In essence, after the second goal, it looked as though the United States had to play only as well as they had to win. And this beautiful play by Mike Modano to Joel Otto all but sewed it up. But it was the final goal by Modano, and Team Czechoslovakia looked very disorganized.
And they really did. 4-2 your final score as the U.S. wins in Detroit. This afternoon, Finland defeated Sweden by a score of 3-1, and there are the up-to-the-moment standings. Canada playing tonight, tied with Finland at 5 points. USA with 4, then the Soviets, the Czechs, and the Swedes, all with 2. Interesting that Finland has scored only 7 goals in 4 games, but there they are with that record of 2-1-1. And Sweden, the defending world champs, drops to 1-3-0 And later this evening, of course, Canada and Czechoslovakia playing in a game at Montreal. So it's all set up here at Chicago Stadium. The U.S. trying to clinch a berth in the semifinal round as they get set to face the Soviets. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Here is Chicago Stadium public address announcer Harvey Wittenberg. Well, Harvey, like the rest of us, waiting for the teams to arrive, and as you see, the Soviets are just now leaving their dressing room, the visitors' dressing room here at Chicago Stadium. That long walk up to the ice surface.
It can be very long, particularly for second and third periods if a team isn't doing well. There's probably 30 to 40 stairs that they have to climb from the point you see them there, flat on the floor, up to the ice surface. But it's the same at both ends of the ice. Team USA will have the same climb at their end.
The Soviets are the home team for this game tonight. I mentioned a moment ago that Canada leads Czechoslovakia 2-0. A goal by Al McGuinness, and we're going to look at that.
Canada currently leading the tournament. Actually, they're tied now with 5 points apiece, taking an early lead. Al McGuinness, a Calgary Flames sharpshooter, making it 2-0 after Gretzky, as we had showed you, had made it 1-0.
We're back now at Chicago Stadium, where Brett Hull's dad played in the National Hockey League, starred here for so many years, as his jersey retired and hanging from the rafters. He's only one of the several local heroes that the fans have come out to support tonight. You think back to the All-Star game played here in January. This place was rocking. What a show of support for our troops overseas. And tonight, the Star-Spangled Banners are draped over the various balconies in preparation for this game between the USA and the Soviet Union.
Something special about these teams playing. Talk to the players about it, and they try to keep it down to a lower key. But you know that underneath it all, this is the team that the United States wants to beat.
Bob Johnson, recuperating at Mercy Hospital in Pittsburgh, the coach of Team USA, the coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins. His only advice to the U.S. squad going into tonight's game, keep it simple. Move it up, dump it in. Don't try to make the fancy plays at the blue line. Just keep it simple, up and in. And Tim Taylor, who has taken over for Bob Johnson there in Chicago with Jay Leach. I don't know if the Soviets were prepared for that horn or not.
Do you know that I actually played a hockey game against Tim Taylor?
That doesn't surprise me at all. I thought you'd played against everybody.
Well, just about. But Tim Taylor was playing for Harvard. And the Boston Bruins, back in those days, practiced at Watson Arena. And he remembers the game. He said it was so cold in there that day that everybody playing for the Bruins was wearing a hockey sock on their head, better known in Canada as a toque.
I would imagine that Victor Tikhonov knows what toques are all about. The expression will seldom change, if ever, during the course of a game. He's 61 years of age now.
You know that he's got enough gold to start his own mint.
He's been around international hockey and with the Soviet national team since 1976. It was 76 when they brought an experimental team over to participate in the Canada Cup. He's never held the Canada Cup in great high regard, but it's changed a little. Now here's Harvey Wittenberg.
Cup game between Team USA and the Team Soviet Union. As is the custom in international hockey, the captains of each team will come forward to center ice and exchange gifts. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise while the Soviet Union national anthem is played rather than sung, as requested by the Soviet team leader. sing and join soloists Wayne Mesmer and Frank Pellico at the organ. They sing and play our national anthem.
The fans are in mid-season form at Chicago Stadium. The opening face-off in a moment. This is the Labatt Canada Cup. Back to Chicago Stadium as we get ready for the opening face-off here. Tonight's game will be refereed by Don Koharski, who's worked about 8 games in Canada Cup play. Mark Vines and Ray Scapanello, all National Hockey League officials, all from Canada, to handle this action.
In goal, the 2 goaltenders for the game. Richter on your left, Stalenkov on your right. Stalenkov, while he has not played every game, he's played in just about every part of each one of the games.
And at Montreal, the goals are coming rapidly. Team Canada has a 4-0 lead over Czechoslovakia. As here, Roenick on the face-off. U.S. in the white uniforms, forced to their own line, and now Kasatonov dumps one in. Took a hit from Tony Granato, and over on the far side of the ice, Kozlov plays one rink wide, but Granato is there to clear it out, and the Soviets take over at center ice. Prokhorov trying the left side. Oh, hard hit. Kravchuk taken to the board solidly, and the puck out of play. Kravchuk is a Chicago Blackhawk draft choice, and Don Koharski surveys the opportunity, but no call, no penalty. Tremendous hit, though.
United States trying to set the tempo. Now Koharski is heading over to the USA bench to have a word with Tim Taylor, the coach. Whatever it is, Tim Taylor is nodding in agreement. I would have to think, Jigs, it has something to do with that heavy hit. But if it was that bad, why wasn't there a penalty?
Tim's in total agreement by looks of things. Nodded several times. It's set on a line of LaFontaine with Christian on the left side and Doug Brown on the right side. Brown did not practice this morning, nor did Kevin Miller for that matter. Team USA and the Soviets both worked out here at Chicago Stadium. Soviets have cleared the zone. Eric Weinrich has given it to Dave Christian. Christian plays it in around Malahov. Soviets trying to come up around the boards. It's off Lomakin stick to LaFontaine, and the shot is deflected wide. Malahov with it again. Vladimir Malahov, a draft choice of the New York Islanders, with a long pass through center ice. The Soviets get to it now. One thing they'll do more this season than you've ever seen before was right there, dump the puck in. But they're offside in this play. There is no score, early action. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup.
One of the reasons I suppose they may be dumping it in a little more, Jigs, they do not have the KLM line. Krutov, Larionov, and Makarov, who carried that team, the Soviet team, through the 80s.
Yeah, there are a lot of familiar names missing from the Soviet lineup. Team USA with its third line out on the ice. We've played just a minute now of the opening period as Joel Otto is centering for Olchuk and Mullen, and the Soviets are offside at the U.S. blue line.
Kovalenko on the right wing side is offside. Something else that you do not see a lot of, Soviet offsides. Joel Otto, fourth goal in the game against the Czechs in Detroit on Thursday.
Every member of this Soviet line has been drafted by an NHL team. Butziev in center ice, Kovalenko on one wing, and Gordiuk on the other. Kevin Hatcher pinching in on the right wing boards. Centering pass intended for Otto is broken up. And moving it out of the zone is Gizarov. Gordiuk over in the far wing, taken to the boards by Hatcher. There is no score between the USA and the Soviet Union. Butziev here on the right side fires one, deflected off his skate. Off the skate of goaltender Mike Richter. Shot down the ice.
Went off the skate of Jim Johnson before, Jigs, and Richter was not ready. Went off the inside of his right skate, and his feet were open.
Zara hanging up the right side and out towards center ice. Soviets, Korolev with a shot that was wide of the net. Got their fourth line out there now. Team USA with Chelios and Suter on defense. Brett Hull with Craig Jenny and Kevin Miller, the forward line. This is Chris Chelios. Now with the Chicago Blackhawks. Keeps one in. It's off his stick, right back to Suter, put it in front. And the Soviets are quick to move it up the ice. Galchenyuk, stick handling across the line. Alexander shot just wide, and here's Chelios. Now intended for Brett Hull. Heideroff unable to make the play. Leads the Team USA squad 4-on-3. The play broken up at the blue line. Now the puck dumped in and the USA gets back onside. Stalnikov leaves it back of the net. Tatarinov, formerly with the Washington Caps, now a member of the Quebec Nordiques, gets to center. They do get the puck into the zone, but that's all. And down the left side with a long pass comes Roenick. Jeremy Roenick, nice move on Kravchuk. Centers it in front. The drive, they score! Modano!
What a move by Jeremy Roenick in front of his hometown Chicago fans. He was waiting, and the reason he was waiting was the USA was changing on the fly. Look at him control the puck. And Modano comes off the bench using speed to get to the spot quickly. Beautiful pass by Jeremy Roenick. Whack! It's in the net by Mike Modano, and the USA has a 1-0 lead. Pretty passing play. Beautiful stalling by Jeremy Roenick. Perfect pass, and Mike Modano has put it away. 1-0. Modano, his second goal of the Labatt Canada Cup.
5 points overall now for Mike Modano of the Minnesota Stars. Goal at the 3-minute mark. Big lift for Team USA. Seaback held the puck in. Lamakin was unable to pick it up. And it's cleared up ahead by Gabe Christian. Off out of the net. There's Brian Leach centering one for the U.S. That's tipped off the glass, and Seaback has it for the Soviets. Alexander Seaback knocked off the puck. Lamakin got knocked down at center ice. Now the Soviets going to cross the line. Zamdov fired one just wide. Brian Leach controls it. Nice move by Leach to get away from a couple of Soviets. He had trouble regaining control of the puck, and Seaback put it right on. The rebound was loose momentarily. Now comes back toward Richter. And he hunts it up against the goalpost to get a face-off. Team USA leads 1-0. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup.
He was in trouble. Now watch him look up. He knows the puck's there, but he can't get to it. He's trying to fend off the Soviet forward, but he grabbed it anyway. There's the shot. Richter playing it. You could see moving in quickly. Lamankin, number 19, for the rebound.
Now Joel Otto is out to take the face-off against Vyacheslav Butziev. Soviets unable to control the puck at the blue line. Out at center ice, Jitnik dumps one back in around the boards. Kovalenko went into forecheck. Nazarov holds it, moves up the right wing boards, put it in the high slot. That was tipped away from the Soviet coming in off the wing. At the ice is Joey Mullen. Mullen centers one just out of the reach of Hatcher. And Hatcher up toward the corner, and quickly the Soviets make that long cross-ice pass, but it's out of the reach of Kovalenko and wide of the USA net. And the Olchuk dumps one out over center ice, all the way down into the Soviet zone, and that'll be called back on an icing.
Talking with the coaching staff of Team USA, Jigs, they think that they're going to need some really good efforts, individual efforts, particularly Ritter. Mike Ritter in goal has to steal a game the way they talk. Of course, if he doesn't need to play that well, if the team plays that well in front of him, but they feel that somewhere here in this tournament he's going to have to win a game single-handedly for the team. They're also looking for some better efforts out of some of the individual players. We saw Brian Leach a moment ago having an awful time. He seems to be mishandling the puck a great deal in his own end of the ice.
Jim Taylor saying today that he's had to ask these guys to do things, repeating again today, that he's had to ask them to do things that they don't normally do in the National Hockey League. People have to play roles, whereas they star in individual areas in their own teams. An update from the game in Montreal. The Czechs have scored. It's 4-1. Kostak got that goal. And here that long shot launches in the pads and then is covered by Mike Richter.
Soviets starting to take over the play now from Team USA. Some bad passing, trying to get out of their own end. Down deep, the Soviets are forechecking well against Team USA defensemen.
All set for the face-off. Jilniak won the draw, got it back. The Taranov shot is blocked in front of it off his teammate. Korolev's leg, and Brett Hull has dumped it in. Manilov around the boards. Janney tipped one in front, intended for Miller. Hull was there, couldn't get it teed up. Back comes the Soviet Union. Kozlov down right wing. Knocks his back. The return pass to Kozlov, intercepted neatly by Chelios. But his errant pass is going to end up as an icing call against the U.S. U.S. with a goal from O'Donnell, leading 1-0. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Union moves in to take the face-off here. Controlled by Team USA. Mike Modano, nice pass right to Roenick, up to Tony Granato, and it was just out of his reach. Granato, the Illinois native. And Roenick back in the net, he gets rubbed out. Modano comes in to join the play, but the Soviets had the puck momentarily, then Fedorov got checked. Moved by Kravchuk, and a late penalty call in effect here. A slashing penalty indicated by referee Don Koharski. Seems to have Kasatonov ticketed. And it is Alexei Kasatonov of the New Jersey Devils in the penalty box.
Kasatonov doing some sword fighting with Mike Modano. Of course, they recognize that line that Modano on out there. He was parked in front of the net, as though he may have gotten both of them because Modano had swung back at him. Just it was really more intended for the sticks. It's a gesture more than to try and hurt anyone. But Kasatonov is in power play now for Team USA. Just out in front and to the right of the net. There's the two players. Kasatonov grabs his, you could see Modano knock his stick away, and the retaliation by Kasatonov drew the penalty.
Kasatonov in his fourth Labatt Canada Cup. And in the penalty box here, the USA with a 31.3% efficiency rating on their power play, 5 goals on 16 opportunities. A little miscommunication as Chelios and Modano collided. You saw Chelios go to one knee. Now the pass to Hull is into his skates, and the Soviets pick it off. They set up Zendov, and he can't get a shot away. And Leach will organize the play. Nice move on Lomakin. Left side, and Chelios fires it hard around. And after it is Jeremy Roenick. There's Hull back in the net. Pushes it toward Leach. Leach with a shot, crossed the goal mouth. Modano. Roenick gets bumped out of the goal mouth. Modano held it long enough to set up Leach. Nice pass, and Hull breaks his stick on the shot. It's out in front and covered by Stelenkov.
Hull was having problems with his stick before the game. Sticks. He gets quite a few ready. He was putting blades in and taking them out of shafts. He's had problems with his skates too, Jigs. His first shift out on the ice, he fell down twice. Kept looking back at his skates as if he had stepped on something, stripped an edge. Didn't realize it until he got out on the ice.
Brett, we told you in the game at Pittsburgh last week, reported that he hadn't skated. Had not skated all summer. First day on the ice was the first day of Team USA's training camp back mid-August. Janney in the middle. LaFontaine has gone to the left side. Olchuk to the right. LaFontaine guided the puck towards Suter. Pat LaFontaine of the New York Islanders. LaFontaine rips one just wide of the net. Rebounded toward Eddie Olchuk. Back to Pat LaFontaine. In a little deeper. Takes it around to the far side for Brian Leach of the New York Rangers. Here's Olchak with a shot. Glove save. It may have been going wide, but Stalenkov grabbed it and held on.
Good movement by USA power play. Good play that time by Leach. Picking the puck up off the boards, getting it to his teammate there. One good move as he passed it across. There's the shot up a little high. Stalenkov got a look at it, got a piece of it. 46 seconds remaining in the power play for Team USA.
The Soviets have given up only one power play goal 13 times that the opponents have had the man advantage. Lutziev, after winning the draw, has cleared it out. Pavlenko up to forecheck. Kevin Hatcher held it long enough to move it to Gary Suter. Suter being chased back into his own zone. Good forechecking job again by Lutziev.
Good forechecking, James, but Team USA are just too far up the ice. The defenseman can't make that long a pass.
Pavlenko just shot it over the glass. 12 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the opening period. If you've just joined us, Mike Modano has given Team USA a 1-0 lead.
Lutziev plays for the Central Red Army team, a product of the Philadelphia Flyers, the 21-year-older.
Yeah, Flyers drafted him in 1990. He's a big kid, 6'3". The chin kill on this face-off. Gary Suter played it to the far side. Hatcher and Suter had a little trouble. Now Roenick puts on a demonstration. Get taken to the boards by Tatarynov. Hitting begins to pick up. The Soviets have jumped at the length of the ice, and that kills off the penalty against Kasatonov. U.S. had only one shot on goal with that power play. 1-0. U.S. leading the Soviets. Tatarynov broke up the U.S. rush, gets it across the line, slap shot right on. Richter drops down, pulls it back in and covers. 1-0. The U.S. leading the Soviets. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. From the draw here, Team USA had a little trouble controlling the puck. Sergei Fedorov, runner-up to Ed Belfour in the Rookie of the Year voting. Fedorov with one season in the NHL playing at Detroit. It's checked here. Up ice comes Brett Hull. Played it around the boards. Hull is out with Janney and Miller. And Miller got checked. Greg Janney turns to get away from Fedorov. Plays it in a little deeper. There's Miller. He gets rubbed out on the end boards, and Fedorov has it. Fedorov waiting in the center ice area. Gets tied up on the play. Kozlov can't go anywhere. And we welcome our audience across Canada on CTV. Jakes McDonald with Ed Westfall here at Chicago Stadium. Mike Modano has given the Team USA side a 1-0 lead. It's goal at the 3-minute mark. But the Soviets have dominated play since then. Haven't been able to solve Mike Richter. Over the line they come. Endov up the middle. Checked as he went to shoot it. Weinrich got a chunk of him, and Richter covers the puck.
Probably the best scoring opportunity for the Soviets so far. Semak got in close on the rebound. Take a look, some of the stick handling here as the Soviets get between the defense. There's Semak as he takes a shot. Richter had a good opportunity standing up, playing the angle to take it away from him. But slowly here, the Soviets have been starting to dominate Team USA.
Soviets taking a little time setting up the forward line as you look at the scoring summary. Roenick and Hull had the assists on that goal, by the way. Zamdov in the middle again. 20-year-old Alexei Zamdov lost the draw. Beaten by Pat LaFontaine. And Chelio sets up back of the net. Team USA in the white uniforms. A home game tonight for the Soviet Union as the Americans just pushed it across the line, only to have it brought back. Aronoff with a long shot steered aside. Chelios looks toward Leach. Moved the puck onto his stick. Leach pulls it away from Semak, but then Lomakhin is right on him. Packet is knocked down. It was centered in front, and Zamdov couldn't get a stick on it. This is Dave Christian for the U.S. Fontaine puts it in front. Koloff was there to clear that, and Brian Leach unloads from the point. Knocked down in the play was Brown. It comes back along the boards, but controlled by the Soviet Union. Alexei Lobakin down right wing, trying to move in on Leach. Now Zamdov centers, and Leach can't clear it. Zemek got a chance with a bouncing puck, only to have Richter cover it.
Another good scoring opportunity. Brian Leach trying to fend off two Soviet players as they dart in, and again Semnak, that puck bouncing and rolling. Richter wants to hang on. Chelios telling Semek, 25-year-old product of the New Jersey Devils, get away from the front of the net.
They hope someday that he'll be in a Devils uniform. Only about 3 or 4 players on the Soviet team tonight that have never been drafted by National Hockey League teams. And then back for the puck. Otto rubs him out of the end boards. Here's Dave Christian to Olchuk. Can't get a stick on it. Slides harmlessly back into the USA zone, and Mike Richter bangs it off the boards toward Joel Otto. Now Joey Mullen turns it over at center ice. The Soviets do likewise at the American blue line. Jimmy Johnson with a pass through the skates of Eddie Olchuk, and that'll be called back on an offside. USA 1, Soviets no score. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Inside the blue line, USA with Jeremy Roenick moving in to take the face-off. Martinyuk is at center ice for the Soviet Union. Juggled their lines a little from the game they played against the Czechs. Of course, they were beaten by Czechoslovakia. Coach Victor Tikhonov tinkering a little bit. It is a young team, averages about 22.3 years of age. Race for the puck here. Galchenyuk pulls up, moves right in front, shoots, pad save. The rebound was there. Galchenyuk, nice puck control, a backhander in the turnaround. Richter down, and the puck ends up in the corner. Up they come, Roenick to McDonald. They move in on Tatarnov, got checked. Mikhail Tatarnov leads a 3-on-2 rush. Shoots from the point. Richter well up to cover that. Galchenyuk held it in. Korolev with a shot. The rebound is shot wide. The Soviets turn up the heat with another drive. Turned aside. Suter put his hand on it. Now it comes loose. Galchenyuk dances out of the corner. Gets a shot away, and Richter blocked that. Tatarnov in deep. He gets turned around by Tony Granato, and the U.S. ices the puck. Tatarnov and Roenick having a war of words back in the U.S. zone, but now they break up. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup.
Since the penalty to Kasatonov, the Soviets have outshot Team USA 7-0. Some of the play in front of the net. Some pretty good scoring opportunities. There's one there. What a blast from close in. Galchenyuk had 2 good chances, wearing number 16 for the Soviet Union.
Fedorov is at center ice on this forward line. Kozlov is on one side. Prokhorov on the other. Across the line they come. Kozlov, very talented 19-year-old. Lost control of the puck. Fedorov picks it up. Fedorov pulls it on the left side. Turned to the face-off dot, trying to find Kasatonov, and the puck deflected off him.
Hull read the play perfectly. Stepped in and intercepted the pass from Fedorov.
Here they come again. Up the slot. And the shot turned aside by goaltender Mike Richter, but there'll be a penalty on the play against Team USA.
Soviets coming back in again. There's the play. Richter gets a piece of it, kicks it away. A tripping penalty to Team USA.
This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Ryan Leach in the penalty box sets up the first Soviet power play of the game. Their power play, the 3 previous games in this Canada Cup round robin, 3 of 19. All three of the power play goals in their victory over Finland.
The way they've been playing here lately, Jigs, the Soviets looked as though they were at a man advantage.
They got the draw. Malaha couldn't hold it at the blue line, and Dave Christian shoots it into the Soviet end of the ice. Lomakin, Seaback, and Zamdov, the forwards. Another draft pick. Malaha on defense. Now Seaback over on left wing. Pulls up. Centers. The shot off Richter and up into the seats.
USA, one of the luxuries they've had so far is their penalty killing. Well, when we talked about earlier, Mike Richter now getting much busier. Team USA net. Doug Brown has a bit of a virus. He hadn't been feeling that well. Didn't practice this morning, but he said he felt good enough to play.
Tim Taylor, along with Mike Eaves and Jay Leach, the coaching staff of Team USA, checking their bench. Joel Otto will take the face-off. Zamdov move in for the Soviets. And they win the face-off. Move it back toward the blue line. That long shot. Zamdov in front of the net and bounces toward the corner. Seaback up with it. Alexander Seaback. Give it to Lomakin. Lomakin is knocked off balance. Seaback right on it. Lost it on the boards. And Joe Mullen is able to bank one off the glass, but on into the seats, so that gets a play stoppage.
He wanted that one deliberately. He wanted to stop the Soviet power play. There's a look at the bench strength of the young Soviet team.
Well, it's quite a commentary on this team and the way things have changed. The fact that they would take Fedorov, more or less embrace him after he'd apologized for leaving the team prior to the Goodwill Games a year ago. So, well, you're welcome to play. We need you, basically, I guess is what they said. Sergei Fedorov has led the team in scoring through this 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Soviets have a minute to go with this man advantage. Lutziev got it to the line, but offside.
Well, any time a penalty killing unit can crowd 6 players all along the blue line on one side up against the boards, it's in their best interest. And again, Team USA did that. There's the bench of the team. 5 power play goals against in 17 opportunities. And the numbers don't speak as well as the way I'd been talking about some of the individual players that have been killing penalties. A good penalty killing team would be in this kind of a series probably in the 80 percentile and up.
The Soviets move the puck in. Prokhorov into forecheck, bump Joel Otto. Prokhorov continues to try and dig the puck loose. And not, and they'll get another face-off. Vyacheslav Kozlov is out there on this forward line in the balance of the power play.
Just over a half a minute remaining in the Soviet power play. So far, there has not been a shot on goal. 21 goals as Spartak won the Soviet League. Prokhorov, he's born on Christmas Day. I suppose that may have more significance now. Things are changing the way they are in the Soviet Union.
There are 3 members of the Soviet team, are there not?
Exactly.
Christmas Day. Chelios lost in the corner. Fedorov got it back to Kasatonov. His long shot all away from Prokhorov, who was trying to deflect it. And now Chris Chelios plays it to Doug Brown. Can't get it around Kasatonov. Kozlov had his pocket picked. Otto failed to slap it around the end boards. There's Dougie Brown. Ends up turning it over. Prokhorov into the corner for Fedorov. Holds it, shoots off the crossbar and up into the seat.
Well, you could see what he had in mind, putting it into the short side under the crossbar. Did that go off Richter's hand? Maybe got it pinched against the goalpost. The way he's working his hand. Here's the Soviets. There's the shot. You could see it rising up. Either it hit the shoulder of Mike Richter or it went off the crossbar goalpost on the outside.
U.S. leads 1-0. 5 seconds remaining in the penalty time against Brian Leach. Galchenyuk comes in to take the face-off. Korolev goes to the right side. And Heideroff is on the left wing. The Soviets. Renato and Roenick, the forwards, and now Leach is out of the penalty box as Kevin Hatcher moves the puck in. Roenick, a backhander, is just wide. Trying to center. Dalnikov got a chunk of it, and now the Soviets come away. Galchenyuk moves it to the near side. Korolev lost it at the blue line, and Jeremy Roenick leads the USA side across the line. Can't get it to Modano. At Montreal, Wayne Gretzky has scored his second goal of the game. It is 5-1. Canada leading Czechoslovakia. And here, Team USA on a goal by Mike Modano has the puck now. Still giving it to Hatcher. Leads 1-0. Hatcher. Long pass. Modano couldn't get started in the center ice zone, and the Soviets dumped one in. Going back is Tony Granato. Downers Grove, nearby suburb of Chicago, is where he grew up. Granato started his NHL career with the New York Rangers, dumped it in from center ice, his own side of the strike, and that puts the play on the board as an icing.
Played on the '88 U.S. Olympic team, Tony Granato.
Pulling back, they're going to make it an offside call rather than an icing. One of the most likable guys, one of the hardest working guys on this squad. I'd have to say just about the same with the Los Angeles Kings over the regular season. A hard-working kid.
Well, he was fun for us to watch playing for the New York Rangers. Scored 36 goals his rookie season. He has a lot of international experience. 27 year older. He played in the '85, the '86, and the '87. He played on the U.S. national teams.
Now Chris Chelios holds the puck for Team USA. Chelios plays it through Lomakin at center ice, but it's intercepted and brought back. Zamda fakes once into the high slot. Nice pass. Seamack shot. Hand save, and Richter covers.
Lomakin, Andre Lomakin, looking for the rebound as Seamack let the shot go. Team USA still stuck at 4 shots, but the Soviets starting to get their offense moving. Look at them freeze. Gary Suter, the defenseman. Here's the shot. Richter, a good job as he controls the rebound. But Team USA have to start to play a little stronger in their own end. They've got to gear up the offense from their defense.
Gary Suter trying to move it out of the zone. Does. Played it off the boards, and back for it is Dmitry Mironov. Up to Lomakin. Lead pass, knocked away at the blue line as he had Zamdov open. Vladimir Malahov is back for it. Malahov plays it up ahead. Andre Lomakin through center ice. Across Team USA's blue line, pulling to the left side. Suter right on him. An interesting situation. Suter took him into the boards heavily. For those of you who saw the game between Team USA and the Soviets, Canada Cup play 1984. It was played at Hartford. Lomakin and Suter. Suter laid the lumber on Lomakin. Cut him severely as Kovalenko's shot is blocked. Kovalenko from back of the net. Comes out. Just holds it. Going back to that play in Hartford. Suter was suspended for 4 games in the National Hockey League and 6 games in international play as a result of a stick swinging that opened up Lomakin for several stitches. Here tonight, they said, "How do you do?" again as Suter rode him into the boards and gave him a little facial.
There's Gary Suter. Won the Calder Trophy, named the NHL All-Rookie Team. That happening back in 1986.
Suter told me in defense tonight of that play back in 1984 at Labatt Canada Cup play. Lomakin had come at him with the stick. He said he speared me. He said I had a gash along the side of my neck and it was reaction. I didn't mean to hit him in the face. I to slap him across the arms. The Soviets across the line. Budziev dropped it back toward the blue line. Vidya got it in front. There's a delayed penalty call coming. A tripping call as Janney went in pursuit of the puck. He went to the deck. And referee Don Koharski making the 3rd penalty call of the game, the 2nd against the Soviets. The signal is for tripping.
Tripping in the offensive zone in front of the net. Richter again makes the save, then takes the rebound, kicks it away. There's the trip on the Team USA defenseman. So one way to get the pressure relieved is go to the power play, but it's a big mistake. by Kovalenko. He's a product of the Quebec Nordiques, the 21-year-older, taking a tripping penalty in the offensive zone.
Kovalenko for tripping. Here's Roenick. Didn't get around Kravchuk. And Fedorov clears the zone. Back goes Brian Leetch. The U.S. power play has Modano, Hull, and Roenick together. Leetch dumps it in from his own side of center ice. That's called back. That's an icing. Leetch hasn't been the dominant factor, not only in this game, but through the series thus far, has he?
We were talking about that, Jakes, and you know, in the game against the Czechs in Detroit on Thursday, for about maybe 1 or 2 shifts, it looks as though he was breaking out of whatever the shell he's in. I don't think it's physical because he seems to be skating and at times handling the puck the way we've seen him play over the years with the Rangers, but then he seemed to slide back into the kind of regular play that we're not used to seeing Brian Leetch play. He can play so much better than he has.
Roenick just beat Galchenyuk in the faceoff. Leetch handles the puck now. Right side. Chelios gave it back to him. Leetch moves it around to the far side of the ice. That's Modano tipping it to Chelios, across to Leetch. Leetch centered one across, and that goes out of play. Reaching in was Filiminov. And the puck ends up in the seats with 2 minutes and 18 seconds left in the opening period. Looking at the Soviet bench. Our first intermission tonight at Westfall will be visiting with Tim Taylor, coach of Team USA. And we'll also take you to Montreal, get you an update on the game between Team Canada and Team Czechoslovakia. Wins tonight for Canada and the the U.S. squad, I should say, with, I'm sure, both of them a trip to the semifinals. Brett Hull around the boards to Jeremy Roenick. Back to Brian Leetch. Look toward Chelios. Played it through Roenick. On to Hull's stick. Brett Hull centers one. Tipped in front by Filiminov. Hyderov through center ice. Nabil Hyderov in and out of some traffic. Pushed the puck away from Leetch, and Chelios comes up with it. 35 seconds in this power play. Modano can't get it into the Soviet end. Here's Brian Leetch. Knocking right on him. Leetch drops it back, and Chelios gives chase.
Fans getting a little edgy here with the power play. There's only a half a minute left for Team USA.
Now Suter races down the left wing boards. Puts it in front. That's steered aside. Brett Hull chased it momentarily. Roenick get to it. He's set up tall. Suter. Roenick to Hull. He was dragged down. No penalty call. Chelios with a shot. Glove save, and Stelnikov will hold on to it. Roenick appealed. Chelios had a word for the referee that skated away.
Chris Chelios with the first shot by Team USA on the net in 14 minutes of play. There's the shot, low, a good one. Picked off. Left-handed catching mitt of Stelnikov. Of course, Chris Chelios receiving a familiar round of applause and a lot of cheering prior to the hockey game.
Suter with a shot, got through in the goal mouth. Stelnikov lying on the ice, has the puck underneath him.
What a scoring chance for Joey Mullen. He couldn't reach the rebound. Stelnikov was down, he had his back turned. Team USA's Gary Suter, there's the puck deflected. Look at him look around, he can't see it. Over on the far side to the right is Joey Mullen, but he couldn't reach the puck. The Soviets covering up quickly.
1 second left in the power play, so it's all but over. Team USA with 2 shots on goal during Kovalenko's penalty. Bono wins the draw. Mullen can't get to it. It's shot down the ice. And with Kovalenko already out of the penalty box, that will be an icing call. We're into the last minute of the opening period. 1-0, Team USA leading the Soviet Union. There's Tim Taylor, who will talk with Ed Westfall in our first intermission.
I didn't get the opportunity to ask him if there was any drawbacks to playing at Harvard, graduating from Harvard, and then coaching at Yale, starting his 16th year coming up, because they are bitter rivals in all sports.
interesting band. We'll get to meet him on our first intermission. Joel Otto, after winning the draw, got it out in front. Kozlov is able to clear the zone. Prokhorov has dumped it in. Joey Mullen around the boards. Olchuk taken to the boards by Kasatonov. Kozlov lost it. Prokhorov centers it back at the blue line. Kravchuk with a shot. That's skipped wide on the deflection. Olchuk plays it up along the glass and on into the seats.
Eddie O, local boy. He deliberately put that puck into the seats, but because he banked it off the glass, USA in '84 at Sarajevo, Olympics, '87 Canada Cup. Plus he was a teammate. Pat LaFontaine's in that Team USA in Sarajevo. Their opening game that year was against Canada. Pat Flatley, Pat LaFontaine's teammate. They both joined the Islanders after that Olympic tournament.
Now the face-off here. Team USA up with the puck. He's able to clear it out of the zone. Sergei Fedorov has given it to Alexei Kasatonov. On the line on the right side is Vyacheslav Kozlov, and he got taken to the boards and mugged a little by Jimmy Johnson. Joel Otto pushing at it. Ian Fedorov in quite a battle. Jimmy Johnson comes in, pays the price. Sticks come up. No punches thrown. Johnson had an idea of delivering a right, and then decided not to, wisely. Fighting is not allowed in international hockey.
No, the instigator is out.
Fedorov and Otto apparently don't understand that rule.
Interesting how they approach it with kind of a pawing action rather than a punching one, trying to keep from being thrown out. We'll have to wait and see what Don Koharski, the referee, feels about what he saw.
Mentioned the other night, there's only been one fight in the history of the Labatt Canada Cup. We're on the threshold of another. Joel Otto.
He's down in the deck. Along with him is Fedorov. That's number 18. You could see coming in to help out, that was Kozlov, number 9. Then the jam up begins with everybody in the corner.
There's Vyacheslav Kozlov, drafted by the Detroit Red Wings. He's 19 years of age. Reportedly, he'll attend the Red Wing training camp before going back to the Soviet Union.
Boy, he's played in 2 World Junior Championships. He's eligible to play again this year as a junior.
Don Koharski handing out the penalties. We called it 1952 on this opening period.
Eight seconds remaining. Koharski is motioning to the clock. Of course, we all have to get used to now an extra number after we get inside the 1 minute mark. It goes to the 10th of a second. Here's the announcement.
Areas of the game presentations will take place immediately at the conclusion of tonight's game. Remember, Monday night, Team USA takes on Team Finland here.
In reality, the penalties, I guess, are called at 1951.8.
The tickets are still available at the stadium box office on all Ticketmaster locations.
Fedorov and Kozlov are going to the Soviet dressing room. A couple of the American players have already left.
Frustrating for the Team USA. They have played probably better than half of the first period, while they do lead 1-0. Talked about how Mike Richter, somewhere along the way, they expected he was going to have to play such a game that he was stealing one for the team. So far in this game, he's lived up to that.
Don Koharski is explaining the offsetting minor penalties. Each team loses the services of 2 players for 2 minutes. That's the Soviet indicator. On the right, number 9 is Kozlov, number 18 is Fedorov. Otto is number 26 for the USA, and Jimmy Johnson, or number 29, excuse me, Otto's number, and 6, of course, Jimmy Johnson. So Victor makes some notes. They're taken off.
Soviet Union penalties. Number 18,
Koharski is now explaining it to Tim Taylor. When he points to himself, he means his team. You mean we or us? Koharski was nodding yes.
Number 6, Jim Johnson.
All of the penalties were for 2 minutes.
Now we've got a change. Jimmy Johnson has drawn a second penalty. So Team USA is a man short. A double penalty on Jimmy Johnson. One for elbowing, one for roughing. And there is the end of the opening period. And Team USA very fortunate to come out of it with a lead.
Soviets going off the ice. They must figure what do they have to do to beat Mike Richter. That long climb down the stairs, I would have to think for the Soviets won't be quite as bad. They have to feel pretty good about their period.
And at the end of one period, it is the United States 1, the Soviet Union no score. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Tonight from Chicago Stadium, where Team USA leads 1-0. We're at the end of the first period. I said the Americans are very fortunate to be in the lead, are they not?
Yeah, Jigs, any time that a team does not get a shot on goal for something near 14 minutes in a period, they're not playing very well. They weren't skating, and that cost them. But it was early in the hockey game when they did take over the play, and at exactly the 3-minute mark, both teams were changing on the fly when this passed to Jeremy Roenick. Now watch what he does. He stops, he holds the puck. He waits, he holds the puck. He turns, he holds the puck. What a beautiful job of puck control. And all that was just to give Mike Modano time to get out of the player's box, down the ice, and wham! He one-times it, 1-0. Hull also assisted on the goal, along with Roenick. And here again, the shot, a beauty, as he just rips it into the lower part of the net. Players aren't looking for high, low, or anything. They just want to get that shot on. If it's on, it's generally in.
Pretty to watch the way the one-timer came off Modano's stick. The period was not without some feistiness, and especially late in the period, this little scuffle along the board set things off.
I think this is probably the frustration. Again, the Soviets move in, and Richter had an outstanding period. 16 shots on him, and he was able to stop all of them. And this kind of play continued through most of the period after Team Canada scored. And it was because of that frustration that we saw the penalties at the end of the period.
And I would think that during that period, if one thing was proven, it is that the Soviets, young as they are, possess the same skills of the veterans that we've watched over the years.
They just don't have the polish yet, Jigs, but they're getting very close to it.
And then, as I said, late in the period, we had offsetting penalties, except that Jimmy Johnson gets a double penalty. Johnson, number 6 for the U.S., comes in, draws an elbowing penalty for that, and then ended up in a scrap with Kozlov, and each of them assessed 2 minutes for roughing. So Team USA will be a man short when the period begins. Modano with assists from Roenick and Hull at the 3-minute mark, the only goal. Team USA had 2 power play chances. The Soviets working on their second now. And the Soviet Union outshot Team USA 16-6 in that first period of play. Mike Richter, a very busy goaltender.
What a nice style he has, Jigs, and it's nice to watch, I suppose, on the fact that he didn't give up any goals, but he comes out and challenges. His angles were just about perfect. He is very agile, very good feet. He has tremendous balance with the onslaught of 2 and sometimes 3 Soviet players bearing down on him. He's able to move side to side, stay mostly on his feet. That's John Van Beesbroek as he talks to Mike Richter.
Stalinkov in the net for the Soviets, playing in his 4th game. He's played most of the action. Marine played the first period in the Soviets' opening game against Czechoslovakia, gave up 3 goals. Stalinkov has played all but 4 minutes since then. Trefilov came into play in the game against Finland the other night. It's interesting that this goaltender, Mikhail Stalinkov, is the backup goaltender. The backup for the Moscow Dynamo team.
And he's a backup to Trefilov.
There are your scoring leaders up to date, including the 2 goals by Wayne Gretzky tonight, being chased by Brett Hull, Greg Janney, Mike Modano, and Jeremy Roenick. Team USA.
What a nice scoring chance early in the hockey game for Brett Hull. You'll remember he broke his stick as he let fly with a one-timer, something that he is so good at.
Now we get set for the face-off at center ice. Samdorf will take the draw for the Soviets against Jeremy Roenick. The U.S. Chelios and Suter on defense. Mironov and Melahoff on the points for the Soviet Union. Chelios starts from back of the net. Lots of ice here. 3 aside. Samdorf up down on the boards. Chelios controls it. Chris Chelios takes his options. Plays it off toward Gary Suter. Flips it up ahead. Roenick is hooked a little, but play is able to move right along. Samdorf leads the rush. Samdorf across the line. Low shot. Big rebound. Roenick there. That's able to control it.
It's so easy to make a mistake with only 3 men on the ice and get yourself trapped. And of course, each team's trying to do that.
That's just what happened there. Chelios ran into the goaltender. Soviets come away with the puck. This is Dmitry Mironov. Turns back into his own zone, allowing his teammates to make a change. Zaroff with it here. Zaroff in the Quebec Nordique. Rated to the right side. Dmitry Mironov. Mironov steps over the line. Unloads off the catching glove. Oh, did he get everything on that?
He did, Jigs, and he's the second leading scoring defenseman in the Soviet League.
And Team USA offside as they moved into the Soviet zone. A minute and a half into the second period. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup.
26-year-old Dmitry Mironov, product of the, or I said owned by his rights owned by the Toronto Maple Leafs. That was shot. That was on target. What a job by Mike Richter. That came from outside or just inside, I suppose, with his forward motion of the blue line.
And Mironov selected in this year's entry draft of the Maple Leafs. 8th round.
Seems funny to have him just now. He's 26 years old.
Mike Bloomer. Zaroff up this line. Left off the puck by Big Kevin Hatcher of the Washington Capitals. Brian Leach going cross ice to Granado. Got bumped and knocked down. The Soviets right on top of the puck. Kutsiev cuts in front. Tests Richter, and he's equal to it.
Kutsiev. What a good move. He uses his size and his balance. He used his left leg and left arm to protect the puck. Here, Brian Leach. He gets a step on him. Look at his left leg as he guards the puck. Leach can't get to the puck, can't get to the big body, and Richter gets to the puck. Good stop by Richter again as the Soviets mount 3 shots here in the early part of the second period.
1 second remaining in the penalties to Otto, Kozlov, and Fedorov. And Jimmy Johnson will sit for another 2 minutes. And the Soviets about to go to the power play. See Kozlov and Fedorov ready to step out. Otto checking. Chelios turns on Prokhorov, won the draw, and Joey Mullen backhands it up into the center ice zone. The Soviets with their second power play opportunity of this game. Team USA leads 1-0. Killing it off is Mullen and Otto. And Mullen got bumped well away from the play and sent spinning. Kasatonov back for it. He and Tatarnov are on the points for the Soviet Union. Alexei Kasatonov, New Jersey Devils. Sergei Fedorov. Fedorov bumped solidly by Weinrich. Prokhorov moved it toward the corner. Kozlov at the blue line. Tatarnov gives it right back. Kozlov sets up to Tatarnov. He didn't want it. Here's Kozlov at the top of the circle. Centering pass. Found its way to Kasatonov. To Tatarnov. To Kasatonov. Fakes once. Feeds to Tatarnov. And Kasatonov. Long shot through a bunch of legs in front. And cleared back of the net by Joey Mullen. Hard hit delivered by Chelios. And Richter down to make a low ice save off Fedorov's stick.
He's made a lot of good saves in this hockey game, Jigs, and that's the best one he's made so far. What a good right pad save. The Soviets, they paid the price behind the net. Chelios, wham, What a shot. Here's the quick tuck around. What a stop by Mike Richter. What great reactions by the goaltender, excuse me. 25-year-old Mike Richter with a right pad save, keeping the game in the hands of Team USA. Power play continuing for the Soviets. 58 seconds remaining. Chris Chelios. We'll get a chance to talk to Chris at the end of the second period.
See that Chelios sitting there at the bench has gone to the new aluminum stick. That's the Sherwood aluminum stick as opposed to the Easton that people like Gretzky and Hull and Suter and so many others use.
See that more and more becoming a factor in the hands of more players in the NHL.
Golano on the faceoff, beaten on the draw by Fedorov. Prokhorov, Kasatonov, Prokhorov. It's been a little deeper. Fedorov after it. To Kozlov to Fedorov. To the blue line, Alexei Kasatonov. Cross-ice pass to Taranov. Unloads, blocked by Richter, and there's absolutely no rebound to be found.
He's not going to give a rebound off on that shot unless it was deflected. He cups his stick. As he goes down, you could see his stick. The top of the goal stick on the ice tips forward. That traps. Watch it pull back. There, he just traps it with his left pad as insurance. Then he gets the left hand on it. Defenseman clearing away the forwards of the Soviet team.
Still 40 seconds remaining in the power play for the Soviet Union.
Mike Richter played 4 games in the '88 U.S. Olympics for the U.S. team.
He's out of the University of Wisconsin, born in Abington, Pennsylvania. Will he continue to share the net-minding duties with John Van Beesbrook? The Rangers get around to the regular NHL season. Kasatonov back to take the puck. Taranov pops it back. Zamdov up quickly across the line. Played it around the boards. Chelios moves it to the near side. Kasatonov held it at the point. Zamdov trying to Prokhorov rather. Can't get it back cleanly to the blue line. And here's Taranov. Turns it over. Dougie Brown has it. Brown fakes once when cross ice and the pass was tipped away from Kevin Miller. Kasatonov to Prokhorov. Away from him at the U.S. blue line and shot down the ice. That comes after the penalty has expired. So the teams are at full and equal strength. And Team USA leads 1-0. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Team USA making a late change. Jimmy Johnson, who had just completed serving some penalties, is replaced by defenseman Eric Weinrich. Weinrich and Hatcher will be on defense. You see Jeremy Roenick moving in for the faceoff against Alexei Zamdov. Seaback is on the left, Lomakin on the right for the Soviet Union. Team USA, it's Mike Modano, Tony Granato, and Jeremy Roenick. Here's Eric Weinrich, number 38, around to Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher plays it up the right wing boards into the center ice zone. Taranov turned it towards Seaback, who steps over the line with Zamdov. Can't get the pass onto Zamdov's stick. Soviets set up outside the line again. Once more, they're forced back. They're dumping it in. Lomakin gets to it. He's bumped by Roenick. Roenick all over Lomakin as he plays it around the end boards to Eric Weinrich. Hit by Modano to Tony Granato. Through center ice, across the line. Taranov turned around, and Zamdov came back to clear it for the Soviets. Ryan Leach out on a player change has dumped it in. Played 5 minutes of the second period. Still a 1-0 lead for Team USA. Mackin across the line. Chased in deep by Hatcher. Put the lumber on him. The puck goes loose. Leach after it. Hatcher had his stick pulled back. Then he got thumped. Zamdov knocked him down heavily. Modano with a feed to Roenick, and it dribbled off his stick and well wide. Goaltender Kalikov rather. Giveaway. Quick shot just wide. What an opportunity for Eddie Olczyk. Olczyk taken to the boards by Zamdov. The hitting more prominent now. The Soviets come away with a bouncing puck. Had trouble handling it. Seaback got it to the U.S. line where it was knocked down. Johnson feeds LaFontaine. And LaFontaine trying to go around Zhitnik is taken down, and Zhitnik will go to the penalty box. Delay call. The U.S. USA with the puck. Johnson shot blocked in front. The Soviets can't get to it. The drive blocked, and now as Gusarov controls the puck. Play called, and Team USA goes to the power play. From Chicago, this is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup.
Some hustle by Pat LaFontaine. He gets dragged down by Alexei Zitnik. Team USA go to the power play. Anytime in the 3+ games I've seen them play, the U.S. team, Jigs, whenever they hit, they seem to be more into the hockey game. They seem to play better.
Now they have the power play for the 3rd time tonight. Lebanov flips it high in the air and wide of the U.S. net. Ryan Leach and Chris Chelios on the points. Janney, LaFontaine up front, along with Miller on the forward line. Here's Craig Janney. Leach sets it up. Miller to the side of the net. LaFontaine flipped it right across the goal mouth. And USA sets up again. Ryan Leach toward the corner for Craig Janney. Janney at the top of the circle to the point for Chelios. Goes to Leach's side of the ice and gave him the puck. Ryan Leach. LaFontaine tries to set something up from the corner. Chelios front it toward Janney. Back to Chelios. Fires and the drive is wide of the net. LaFontaine out in front. There's Leach with a shot. Stelenkov down to smother the loose puck.
A lot of second and third efforts by Team USA. Zletkov handles the rebound. He's big. He's got long arms, and he used them there with LaFontaine bearing down. Good puck angling here by Team USA. There's the screen set up. Save LaFontaine. And with time, that shot, the rebound, Zletkov has the puck. LaFontaine was looking for it, trying to jar it loose.
Now Suter has it poked away. Up quickly, Fedorov, the stick knocked out of his hands. Good cover by Suter, and he rubs Fedorov into the boards heavily. Mike Modano turns and starts out for Team USA. Roenick and Hull with them. It's across the line. Modano, neat pass. Roenick shot is turned aside by Stelenkov. And the Soviets once more clear it out of the zone.
Interesting to have Fedorov killing the penalty, Jigs, and what a good move by the USA defenseman Suter to squeeze him into the boards.
Here comes Mike Modano leading this run. Puck slipped away from him, and Kravchuk got knocked down heavily. Loose puck in the far corners. Handoff leads Brent Hull up against the boards. Put the stick into him as well. Kasatonov. Kravchuk gave it back, and Kasatonov ripped that just wide of the net. The Soviets, with 15 seconds remaining in the penalty against Zitnik, lay it back toward Kasatonov. He'll shoot it down the ice. That should all but kill off the penalty. Zitnik on his skates. Modano comes out of the penalty box to be met by Zitnik. Nice move, 2 of them. One on Zitnik, the other on Mironov, and the puck is deflected to the far corner. Roenick, Hull, trying to get it to the blue line. It was broken up. Jimmy Johnson draws a crowd, pins it in front of the Soviet bench, and gets a play stoppage. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup.
Team USA skating so much better, getting some opportunities, whether it be by power play or not, but they have to give Mike Richter a little bit of a break. He's been under siege for most of this hockey game.
Soviets out shooting the USA 6-3 through the first 8.5 minutes of the second period. Again, the puck pinned on the boards, and a Soviet player that's been hurt.
Kovlenko, I believe that is, down on the ice. It looked like an innocent collision along the boards. I thought it appeared as though his feet got tied up in the boards and he may have twisted something. He's reaching up around his head area. There he is along the boards. Did he get a stick? Went down, reached for his head.
Dave Christian got a chunk of him.
Dave Christian with not much ice time. He has a bit of a Charlie horse, I believe. He's got a sore leg.
Pavlenko now wearing uniform number 25. He had worn number 27 earlier in this tournament. Dmitry Kristich has returned to the Washington Capitals in time to get set at their training camp. Pavlenko right away. Dmitry Kristich's uniform number. 1-0. Team USA leading. Nearing the midway point of the second period, we have an icing call against the Soviets.
What do you think of that icing call as we get a look at Gary Suter heading up through the center ice area?
The number he did on Fedorov on that partial breakaway in the center ice area.
It's a smart move, Jigs, because you're already a man advantage, and if a player gets down that far away from his net behind your own and you have a chance legally to kind of pin him in there, you can always hold him for a few extra seconds. And with someone like Fedorov, he's so quick and so good at skating, you want to hold him for a little bit longer.
Suter out of the University of Wisconsin, born in that state. Long shot there, tipped just wide of the Soviet net. Down the left side they come. Heideroff across the line. Nice check by Chelios. LaFontaine moves it up the boards. Too far for Olchuk. Soviets trying to penetrate once more at the blue line. Korolev got checked. And here is Suter. Suter bounces one toward the net. Soviets quick to clear it out, only to have Chelios hammer it right back in again. Olchuk got the play back onside. Quick shot just wide. Low to the right side of the net. Now they center again. It's knocked away. Olchuk plays it off the side of the goal. And Tatarnov, the Soviets, failed to clear it out. Suter tried to center. Here's Tatarnov. There's three Soviets moving up. Virginia to Korolev. He turned it over toward Joey Mullen. The Americans are able to move out of the zone. Here's LaFontaine. Cross ice to Olchuk, and it's deflected off his stick. Heideroff drops it back into his own zone. Dmitry Filimonov up there now. Korolev, who got his bell rung in a warm-up game in Hamilton against Team Canada. He was hit by a big Mark Tenorti. Korolev went right off the ice to the dressing room and didn't return for the balance of that game. He's played regularly throughout the Labatt Canada Cup. Midway through the second period. Eric Weinrich. Soviets right on him. Greg Janney comes up with the puck. Drops it back into his own zone. Suter trying to move it out now. Does. Got it to Janney. Team USA trying to get the play back on side at the Soviet blue line. The Americans lead 1-0. Jigs McDonald with Ed Westfall here at Chicago Stadium as we welcome our CTV audience. Fedorov moving in, looking for a loose puck. Couldn't find one. Back comes USA. Craig Janney leads a 3-on-2 rush. Janney into the slot, shoots. Pad save by Stalnikov. The Soviets in the dark red uniforms have just shot it down the ice. The automatic icing call is made.
A reaction move by the goaltender, Mikhail Stalnikov. Janney set up a beautiful screen. Team USA starting to bring the play now to the Soviets. There's Janney's shot. Stalnikov, you could see he went down. He was guessing. He guessed right.
The Soviets have outshot Team USA by a margin of 2-1, 22-11. Richter blocked 16 shots in the first period, another 6 here in the second.
Stalnikov, Jigs, he played in the Super Series with Moscow Dynamo. Beat Philadelphia 4-1, and he beat Pittsburgh 4-3.
Interesting, isn't it, that he's the backup goaltender in that team in the regular season. Now the Soviets break out of the zone. 2-on-2 through center ice. Seaback is across the line. The pass to Lomakin got in a little deep. Chased behind the net. And away with it comes Mike Modano. He has the only goal of the game. Michigan native Modano plays for the Minnesota Stars to Granato. The pass was behind Jeremy Roenick. Here's Seaback, and Lomakin have been taken off his skates in the center ice area. Jimmy Johnson back. The pass to Kevin Hatcher. Back to Johnson. Johnson has put it in the Soviet zone. Loose puck. Renato knocked down as he tried to fish it loose. The Soviets beat him to it. Team USA is back. Johnson with a pass through the middle. Off Roenick, and that'll be called back on an offside pass. 8.5 minutes to play in the second period. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Face-off will be just inside the USA blue line. The Soviets, Butziev is at center ice, facing off against Joel Ano. Ano won the draw. Suter has fed the puck toward Chelios, who steps over center. Fires it hard around, as they say. Off Ano, cleared by the Soviets. Suter turns it over. The Soviets do likewise. Here's Dave Christian with a feed that found its way to Doug Brown. Brown taken to the boards by Gusarov. Back of the net. Chelios centered. There is nothing doing there. Suter puts it right back in the Soviet zone.
Tim Taylor, Jake's trying to go a little longer on the bench now. He's using another line here with Christian, who has not seen a lot of ice time because of his injury, and Doug Brown.
Gignac failed to pick up a loose puck. Down behind the net goes Kovalenko. Was met solidly by Gary Suter. Leans on Suter as his teammates set up for the Monov at the blue line. Long shot, blocked in front. Up with it is Chelios. Delayed penalty call coming against the Soviets. Here's Christian on right wing. Lays it around Filimonov, who reached back to control it. That brings about the play stoppage and an interference penalty. Richter was interfered with in the goal mouth. And Team USA goes to the power play.
Kovalenko is going to get the penalty, I believe. There, he fell backwards over top of Richter. You could see the arm go up. Richter gives Kovalenko a little bit of a tap. So the hustle of Team USA starting to pay off.
From Chicago, this is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup.
Back-to-back penalties to the Soviet team. There is Andrei Kovalenko. Looked as though he got shoved at first, landed on the goaltender. I think something happened just prior to him falling over top of Mike Richter.
Fourth power play of the game for Team USA. Janney got it from Hatcher, gave it back. Hatcher has banked it around the boards. Leach in off the left point to LaFontaine. Couldn't hold it as he went back of the goal. It rolls up along the top of the boards, then drops into the skates of Kravchuk. Dug loose. Janney to Hatcher. Back to Greg Janney of the Boston Bruins. Janney faked once. Connecticut native holds it. Holds it. Janney trying to spread things out. Cross ice pass is picked off by Fedorov. Prokhorov. Sergei Fedorov, and then back to Kasatonov. Team USA sets up again. Hatcher with the move on Fedorov. Nice move, wasn't it?
Beautiful.
Serge Savard. There's LaFontaine. Checked by Fedorov. Hatcher at the point, holds it, then plays it around the boards. Fedorov is there. Team USA gets to a loose puck. At LaFontaine to Greg Janney. Janney to LaFontaine. Kasatonov stood him up straight, and here's Olchuk. Miller, Miller to Janney. The Hatcher couldn't get the shot off, and Leach gets checked. Prokhorov with a break is taken down at center ice. Referee Don Koharski calls the penalty. Prokhorov would like to have a penalty shot, and Koharski stops in his tracks.
He's asking for it, Jakes, but Koharski is shaking his head. He was actually shaking his head when he made the call, but clearly a good breakaway attempt taken away from the Soviet player, Vitaly Prokhorov. Here, he's in behind both defensemen. He's gone here. He's across the red line. Gets hooked from behind.
Hatcher with a hooking penalty. 13 minutes, 50 seconds into the second period. Team USA has led since the 3-minute mark of the opening period. That's when McDonald scored his second goal in the Labatt Canada Cup 91 with assist to Roenick and Hull. USA a date with Finland here at the Chicago Stadium on Monday night. The Soviets go to Quebec City, face Canada. Sweden and Czechoslovakia play Monday as well. The teams at 5 aside, including the goaltenders at the moment. The Soviets up with the puck. Lamanov. Gignac across the line to Tatarinov. Tatarinov fakes once into the better shooting position, then flipped it high and wide. They bring it to the side of the net. The crowd there. The puck is covered and held for a face-off.
Chris Chelios logging as much ice time for the Team USA as Mike Richter. Boy, he's out there all the time. Very little bench time. Look at this for a move. Boy, dropped the shoulder. Jimmy Johnson goes down. He scrambled back. He actually forced the Soviet player to make a move with it. Here's the crowd around the side of the net. Chelios down, helping Mike Richter stop the play.
Face-off will be to Richter's left. He gets a little refreshment as Otto waits for Seaback to move in for the face-off. Over 100 million people expected to be watching this game in the Soviet Union. It's the middle of the night, well, early Sunday, really. Out of a population of 288 million. The Soviet Union, they expect 100 million to be watching this game. Chelios, back of the net. Left side to Brian Leach. Up to Otto, to Leach, across the blue line. The puck knocked away from him and controlled by Lomakhin. Andrei Lomakhin to the backhand, shoots just wide. Rana moves in. Otto took it away, lost it to Lomakhin. Here's Seaback moving into the left wing corner. Chelios picked him up. The puck goes over the glass. 1 minute and 9 seconds left in the penalty to the Americans as Hatcher is in the box. Lenko has finished serving his time.
Kevin Hatcher, minute and 9 seconds. Chelios occasionally does get a rest. He's gone to the bench. Tim Taylor would probably love to have him back out there, but you can only get so many miles out of each one of the players. Mike Eaves, a headset on, standing next to Tim Taylor.
There's Eric Weinrich around the boards to Dave Christian, who's cleared the zone. Run off. Pass was out of the reach of Seaback. Heinrich knocks it toward the Soviet end of the ice. Ranoff up to Zhandov. He's across the line, fed it to the open wing. Heinrich steps in front of him. Christian has played it toward the corner. The Soviets can't tighten up at the blue line in time to hold the puck. Brown got knocked off his pins, and the crowd yelling about that. 37 seconds left in this power play for the Soviets. Lomakhin. Zhandov moving with him. Lomakhin is across the line. The pass to Seaback. Seaback to Mironov. In center by Lomakhin. And right on the goal line, the Soviets are saying the puck was in the net. They're banging their sticks against the glass, trying to get the attention of the goal judge. The off-ice officials are the people who regularly handle the Chicago Blackhawk home games.
Generally, when players of the same team see one of them with his arms in the air, signaling that he thinks it's in, the rest of them follow suit. Whether or not it was in, it's hard to tell. There's the puck. It could have been. You could see Mike Richter move his hand as if he was batting it away. Seaback, with his hand in the air, was on that side. Gary Suter fired it away. Let's take a look. Will this angle reveal? There's the puck. It's rolling towards the goal line. The Soviets are with their hand in the air. Lomakhin saying, yes, he thinks it's in. Take a look here now. Watch to the right. The skate up against there. There comes the puck. The skate stretching away. Is it lodged against? Couldn't tell. It has to completely clear the goal line.
If you think ahead a little, the 1991-92 NHL regular season, there will be video replay to determine whether that puck was in the net or not.
That wouldn't tell us anything.
I was just thinking the same thing. Did that prove anything? Oh, we're going to be in for a fun season when it all begins in the NHL. We're having a lot of fun with Canada Cup 1991. Here's Joey Mullen as the teams are at full strength again. Roenick trying to move in on Kasatonov. Roenick tumbles to the boards, slams his stick on the ice. Thought there'd be a penalty called. None was made. None should have been made. Okoroff with it. He shoots in and out of the pads and now covered by Richter. 3 minutes, 41 seconds left in the second period. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup.
Reminder that the Labatt players of the game.
Jeremy Roenick with a little dipsy doodle here, a la Andre Savard, gets tangled up in his own feet, trying to move the puck through his legs, steal one, as they say, get a play at the net. Fell down, banged his stick on the ice in front of referee Koharski. Of course, the fans here, he being a local Chicago Blackhawk, reacting to the bang on the ice.
These fans have lost one of their on-time favorites with the trade yesterday by the Blackhawks of Dougie Wilson. Now as Chelios is taken down, there will be a penalty against the Soviet Union. Andrei Kovalenko puts up a mild protest, but will go off for holding.
Team Soviet Union.
He's been a regular visitor to the penalty box.
Yes, he has. Here's the play. He reaches out. You can see him reach. He put his arms in the air to signal to the referee that I really didn't do it. I didn't mean it. And I don't think I should get a penalty. Koharski didn't agree. Yes, Doug Wilson traded off to the San Diego Sharks. San Jose, excuse me.
There are a lot of San Jose jerseys, that beautiful teal color NHL jersey in attendance at this game tonight. I think in honor of Doug Wilson. Very popular guy for a long time here. The first player that Bob Wolford drafted. Took over as general manager of this team.
14-year veteran for the Chicago team.
Now the U.S. has a power play for the 5th time in this game. And Roenick is out there along with Modano and Brett Hull. Chelios pinching in on the boards. Got control of the puck. Hit it around Kadindia. Got in front and is steered aside. Roenick sets up the man at the left point. Leach feeds Chelios. Back to Brian Leach of the New York Rangers. In a little deeper. Hull gave it back to him. Leach. Hull. This is Roenick. And he shot it off the goaltender Stalnikov. Modano knocked it out of the air. Went to a Soviet stick, but not out of the zone. Brian Leach surrounded by red shirts. Banks one in front. Roenick got to it, only to have it knocked away at the last second. Soviets change on the fly. Leach up quickly. Roenick stayed onside. Then his pass picked off. Held in by Chelios. He got it in front, only to have Gasarov clear it out of the zone. And Leach cross ice to Mike Modano off right wing. Hull in front. The pass to LaFontaine, and he's denied by Stalnikov. The backhand pass by Leach doesn't get through. Now it bangs around. LaFontaine scores!
Everybody in the Chicago Stadium had the same feeling. Team USA was getting closer and closer from the beginning of the period. They were creating opportunities. They were skating, they were hitting. The Soviets were taking penalties. And on this power play, look at the motion of the power play. Brian Leach doing a good job on the power play, something they need. Pat LaFontaine, so many times as he's finished off the play. There's a one-timer. Good stop by the goaltender, Stelnikov. They continue. There's a beautiful pass, partially broken up. Second effort, LaFontaine finishes it off.
It may not be Lake Placid. It certainly is in 1980. That is a big goal for Team USA against the Soviets. There's Olchuk testing Stelnikov, who was down a little early, but was able to make the save.
Team USA.
How quickly the U.S. come right back after them.
Number 16, Pat LaFontaine.
With a good place to watch from, Mike Richter at the other end. Here's the U.S. team as they power to the front of the net, trying to tip in a rebound. That was Kevin Miller. One of the few shifts that he's had in this hockey game.
On the note, LaFontaine's second goal in as many games. He had to sit out the first two because of a hip flexor problem. Leach and Modano assisted on that goal at 17:43 of the second period. Long shot from the point, got through, but was tipped wide. LaFontaine moves it back toward Jimmy Johnson. Another shot. Lowen turned aside. Facing the puck is Miller. In front, there's Olchuk, and his turnaround shot was blocked and cleared at the defense. And Provorov moving out of the zone and couldn't get it to him. Now Miller with a pass to Olchuk. Couldn't find LaFontaine, who was parked in front. Hatcher banks it around the boards to Olchuk. Right across the front of the net. Here's Hatcher with a shot outside the goalpost, glove by Stelnikov. Fans alive as the U.S. team has picked up the tempo.
Fans have not had a whole lot to cheer about until this second period, particularly the middle part. Later on, it was the hard skating and the hitting of Team USA, giving Coach Tim Taylor a little breathing room along with his team. Of course, what it does, too, is it gives Coach Taylor a chance to put a few more players out on the ice. Players like Hatcher and Chelios on defense that have been seeing a lot of ice time.
Joalano wins this face-off, and Chelios flipped one wide of the net. O'Mullen chases it down, played it away from Lomakin to Ono. Ono gets checked, and the Soviets break out of the zone. Lomakin leads the rush. The pass to Zamdov. Over the line with Seaback. And it's broken up at the defense. Seaback can't get to it again. Otto had it, lost it. Dave Christian works it out towards center, and here's Seaback. Samdov, right side to Lomaka. Suter chases him back of the net. Center cleanly. Now gets it out in front, and Samdov ripped one high, comes off the glass, and there's a minute remaining in the second period here. In Montreal, Canada leads Czechoslovakia 6-2. This game, Team USA 2, Soviet Union no score. Soviet set one up at the blue line. Mironov played it to the right side. Malahav had a shot blocked, and now shot out of the zone and down the ice. Automatic icing call made against USA.
Good move by Chris Chelios, Jigs. He had to do it. He had to cross all the way over from his right defense position to the left side just to pick up a loose puck. He was able to clear it out, but it went for icing. His question to Ray Scampanella is that that puck was touched. Shouldn't have gone for icing.
Ray always with a smile on his face as he makes the explanation. Chelios maybe didn't buy it all, but he's going back to the U.S. bench, asking for permission to get a different stick, I believe, and now he's going to leave. He'll get a rest, catch his breath. He'll join Ed Westfall on our second intermission tonight.
But Zayav taking the face-off with Roenick. Roenick is having a lot of words toward him.
Ties him up, following the drop of the puck. Big shot off the right arm of Richter and up into the seats. Diak got that away in a hurry. 25 seconds left in the period. Richter has faced 24 shots. 8 of them in this period after a barrage of 16 in the first. Victor Gudea, draft pick of the Buffalo Sabres in 1990. Sixth round, or sixth pick at least by the Sabres. Only Prokhorov, Galchenyuk, and Hyderov in the lineup tonight have not been drafted by an NHL team. Stalnikov, the goaltender, should add to that list as well. Soviets get the draw. Sarov at the right point. And was knocked down. The man was Budziev. And the puck is cleared out of the zone. Pitnik tries the right side. Down to 10 seconds remaining in the period. Nice rub out of Kovalenko. Joel Otto gets it to the line, but not out. Now Team USA moves it out, and that brings about the end of the period.
Welcoming cheer by the crowd toward Team USA. They were in a lot of trouble. They bailed out. Richter held them in. The patience of the team paid off. They lead 2-0.
Goal by Modano in the first period. LaFontaine here in the second as the U.S. cashed in on a power play. Tim Taylor, I'm sure not totally satisfied, but it said his team played much better in that second period than they did in the first. So at the end of 2, it's the USA 2, the Soviets no score. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup.
The score is 2-0. Team USA over the Soviets. And we're lucky to have Chris Chelios. I didn't know whether or not you'd be able to talk, Chris. You've had as much ice time as Mike Richter and the 2 blue lines and the referee, but maybe you could give us a bit of a feeling on how the game is going for you and your team.
I think we were fortunate to come out on top of the first period. Mike Richter kept us in there, and we really didn't even deserve to be in that period. In the second period, I think we picked it up a little bit, and that second goal gave us a little bit of momentum towards the end of the period. So hopefully we can come up with a strong period and hold the lead.
Chris, it seems to me, watching the games that I've seen so far, that when the team starts to hit, when your U.S. team starts to hit, it seems to get everybody up into the game and playing at a little higher tempo.
Yeah, I think so. I think what the Russians are trying to do is have a freewheeling game. They like to circle and pick up speed and then pick up the puck in the neutral zone. Fortunately, we're playing in Chicago. It has probably the smallest neutral zone in the league, and we're able to bottle it up and not give them full speed when they hit our blue line. So that's the key. We got to be aggressive, and that's the only way we'll be successful.
Give me a feeling for some of the young players that the Soviets have out there. Of course, Fedorov you've played against before, but there seems to be some pretty good speed on that team.
Yeah, the kid with the mask, I can't ever remember any of their names, but I think that top one, Semilak, and the kid with the mask and Fedorov are definitely their speed, but all of them like the crisscross in the blue line. It makes it pretty tough when we start sagging in and giving up the blue line. So we've got to keeping him in the neutral zone and breaking things up there.
Is it fair for me to ask you, and you can decline obviously, but I would love to have you react a little bit to the situation with Doug Wilson that we've just had happen.
For me, I think it's sad to lose a player. Doug's stature. He's a great person. He's been a great player for the Blackhawks. And I'll never understand the business part of the game. And you know, sometimes things just don't work out. And Mike Keenan and him didn't hit it off. And it's sad to see Doug go, but I wish him and his family the best. And hopefully Chicago, we can remain on top like we were last year.
I know it's been a busy time, but have you had a chance to talk to Doug?
Yeah, I talked to him last night, and right before he took off for San Jose, and I think it's more of a relief for him. I don't think he wanted to go through another year of that. Like you said, he wasn't having fun, and you know, he's speaking for himself, and I think I speak for myself. I enjoyed coming here. It was a whole different thing for me. It was a change, and I just been traded, so I think I know what Dougie's going through after being traded. I think he just wants to get settled in there and have a new start and maybe help San Jose out.
Just skipping back to this particular hockey game for a moment, Chris, it must be a nice feeling to play in front of the hometown fans, you and Jeremy Roenick, in such an important game for your team.
Yeah, it's great. I think Jeremy is showing why you know, we do favor playing here. He'll tell you he's one of the best homers in the league, and he's out there. He made a great play to get us going to pass it over to Modano. And I wish I was 21 years old and had the same enthusiasm as him. Right now I probably look like Mickey Mouse with a big nose here. But
Chris, I appreciate your visit. Thanks, and good luck in the third period.
Okay, thank you, Ed.
Chris Chelios, our guest here at the end of the second period. It's 2-0 Team USA. You're watching the Labatt Canada Cup.
Soviet Union over 2 periods, 1-0 at the end of the first period, 2-0 at the end of the second. Finally, the USA gets the power play to work.
They do, Jigs, and of course, when you think about it, it was the hitting and the skating as the team USA started to pick the play up. They brought it up a notch. Soviets started to take penalties, and it was on that penalty that they were able to get their second goal. Some pretty good stops, and you can see all of a sudden the Soviets breaking down. Pat LaFontaine over on the right side is going to move in with a loose puck. Bang. And he's got the quick hands, and he hammers it in. Beautiful play, a timely goal. They had been giving Mike Richter at the other end of the ice some breathing room, and it was that scramble around the net, and Pat LaFontaine hammering it in. 2-0, Team USA. The Soviets had what they thought was their first goal. Mike Richter, you see him going to his left. He reached back with his right pad. He seems to have the puck trapped. It's very difficult as Gary Suter moves in. They grab a hold of the puck, usher it out of there. There's the puck, and Suter grabbing it, throwing it over there. Get it away from the net. Disputed by the Soviets, obviously. They seem to be somewhat frustrated. Goaltending by Mike Richter. Some calls here by Koharski that haven't gone their way. There's the puck. It went up against the goalpost. You could see Gary Suter reach in with his stick. Now, whether the puck completely crossed the goal line or not, it's very difficult to tell. And at this angle, there's the puck trapped up against the goalpost. And clearly, you could not say that it was a goal from any of the angles. Only the sticks of the Soviet players in the air, which isn't really the case as far as the goal judge.
In the first period, it was Modano from Roenick and Hull. In the second, LaFontaine from Leach and Modano. And we're set now for the third period. Referee Don Koharski ready to drop the puck between Jeremy Roenick and the Soviet center, Sergei Fedorov. Soviets up with the puck. This is Fedorov across the line. Chased to the corner, then falling. Suter went down as well. Kasatonov indeed put it back to the net. The chant of USA. USA goes up here at Chicago Stadium. Alexei Kasatonov plays it off the end boards. Modano can't find a handle on it. The Soviets touched it last. There will be no icing on this play. Kasatonov, long outlet, relayed neatly through center ice. Here's Kozlov. Drops it back. Fedorov to the backhand, to the forehand. And that goes off the pipe and up into the seats. Early in the third period in Chicago. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup.
Sergei Fedorov, the 21-year-old Detroit player who scored 31 times for the Red Wings last year. Look at the moves. He goes in, lifts it, but he not only lifted it over Mike Richter, over the net, it was over the glass. A souvenir.
He's back on the bench. Moving in to take this face off is Zamdov. Alexei Zamdov won the draw. Malahoff, number 4, is played it around the boards. Mullen unable to move it out for Team USA. Quick shot, they score! Zemlov! A giveaway in the U.S. end of the ice, and the Soviets score 51 seconds into the third period.
Fedorov had just had a good scoring opportunity. Right behind that, a mistake, a breakdown in the defenses of Team USA, and moving in quickly, Andrei Zemnov, and what a shot. Beautiful. In full stride, dancing on his skates. He let go with a chopping wrist shot. Here's the play, drop back. Zemnov grabs it, fires it, top right-hand corner, and it's now 2-1. We haven't played a minute into the third period.
They can score in clusters, as we saw in the game against Czechoslovakia. After they had trailed by a big margin, they came right back. They had a couple of quick goals in the game against Sweden after trailing 2-0, only to lose that one 3-2. The Soviets are going to make a player change. Zemnov, the goal scorer, is third to the Labatt Canada Cup. 51 seconds, 55 into this third period.
Zemnov, Jigs, is a property of the Winnipeg Jets. His team in the Soviet Elite League have won their championship the last 2 seasons.
He is some hockey player. He started his career as a goaltender. At the age of 10, he was playing for the Red Army boys team. His dad said it was too much hockey. It was affecting his studies. School wasn't going well, so young Mr. Zemnov gave up hockey. 3 months later, he was back playing as a forward for the Moscow Dynamo boys team. It wasn't until last year that he attracted the attention of Viktor Tikhonov. Thompson moves here. Gusarov for the shot. Turned aside by Richter. The rebound. Gusarov got it on target. It's loose again. A scramble in front. The puck ends up in the corner. Gusarov on it immediately. Now Team USA fires it on target just to get some pressure off. Craig Willadin moves it out. He hasn't had much ice time tonight. He's gone to the bench here. The Soviets have iced the puck. They've got ourselves quite a hockey game. 2-1 USA. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup.
The play in front. Look at that shot. What a beautiful stop by Mike Richter. Talk about his ability to stand on his feet and challenge the shooters.
Now in the Soviet zone, Chris Chelios centers one out of the reach of Greg Janney. With it, Heiderov moves it up through center right. Soviets into the U.S. zone. Unable to complete the play with Galchenyuk. It's a quick shot, well wide of the net. Rebounds all the way back into the Soviet end. Tarnov, Washington Capital draft, who's now been traded to Quebec. Can't get Heiderov over the center ice area. Here comes Chelios. He flips it down into the Soviet territory. Tatarnov is there. Tatarnov pulled back a little bit, moves it up through the center ice zone. Over the line with it is Heiderov. Centering pass, and Weinrich picks that off. Transition to Hull, then to Janney, cross ice to Kevin Miller, gets it to the forehand, but then is met by Tatarnov. But Hull lets it slip back to the net. Janney chases it. Grafcheck right on it. Grafcheck knocks the puck loose. Miller kicked it out in front. Here's Hull. He can't get it back on the stick. Leach from the blue line. A drive. Deflects up into the seats.
Way up into the seats. Mikhail Stalenkov in goal for the Soviets. What a nice reaction. Watch as he's partially screened. He starts to drop down. There, the puck deflected way up above the press box. 26-year-old goaltender, Moscow Dynamo.
See him get set for the face-off. Jeremy Roenick will take the draw. He's got Granato on the left, Madonna on the right. And Granato knocked away from him and shot down the ice. Sergei Fedorov. Team USA trying to get out of their own zone. First pass didn't work, and Fedorov comes off the right wing boards. Fedorov centers one. Kasatonov was there, couldn't control the pass. Kasatonov tries to center again. Weinrich stands him up. Teammates shove at one another. Teammates during the NHL season, that is. Kasatonov and Weinrich. Now Kasatonov, a long shot off the boards. Held in at the blue line. Kravchuk plays it back to the net. Granato got it from Weinrich. Off the boards, out to Leach. Leach is over the line. Moving on Kasatonov. His backhand shot. It's made high and wide. And Granato puts it back in the net. Kalnikov moves it toward the corner. Fedorov. Net on the play, but Kasatonov is there to Kozlov. Kozlov saw Jimmy Johnson moving in and just guided the left side the blue line. Now Kevin Hatcher slaps it around the glass. And after it is Mullen. Back of the net to Olchuk. Put it in the slot. Nobody there for the USA, and Kozlov has gotten it out of harm's way. Jimmy Johnson quickly finds LaFontaine cutting in off left wing. Jumps it out in front. Jumped over Eddie Olchuk's stick as he went to shoot it. Soviets up 3-on-2. Lomakin to the left side. The return pass. Lomakin not in good shooting position. Seaback is. Richter makes a dazzling save.
Take a look. A 3-on-2 developed. The USA trying to get back into cover up. Look at this opportunity. Zimnov really upset. Not often do you see reaction from Soviet players, but more and more they're becoming North Americanized. He banged his stick on the backboard.
And the second Team USA goal scored by Petro.
Oh, the Soviets denied, and it's just over at the Forum in Montreal. As you see the score, Canada defeating Czechoslovakia. Canada remains undefeated. 6-2 win tonight. They will play the Soviets in Quebec City on Monday evening, while Team USA will be right back here at Chicago Stadium, a date with Finland. We have 15 minutes and 18 seconds left in the third period here. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. All set for a face-off in the center ice area. See the score, the U.S. with goals from Modano and LaFontaine. Zamnov for the Soviets. They control the draw. Zitnik has played it off the boards. Chris Chelios moves from back of the U.S. net. Pass up the right side. This is Doug Brown. Brown is playing with Otto and Christian on this forward line. Otto just turned the puck over. Sarov around the boards. Alexei Zitnik. He's cleared it out towards center ice, only to have it shot back in by Chelios. Sarov with it here. Soviets reset. Oh, close call as Christian moved right in on the man. Soviets across the line. Kavalenko dropped it back. Backhand shot from the point. Oh, wide of the net. Chelios knocked it away from the forechecking of Kavalenko. Otto pushing in front of the Soviet players. Able to hold the puck in. Suter a little high on Kavalenko. Chelios there as well. Let's see, beats the blue line. Long shot deflected in front of Richter. It's underneath Suter. He tries to hand pass it away. Keeps the action going. Team USA having trouble in their own end here. Litsev puts it back in the net. Sarov in deep to join the play. Chased by Doug Brown, but there's Otto. Joel Otto clears it for the U.S. Didn't get it outside the blue line. Litsev moves in off the boards to Kavalenko for a shot to a screen that's blocked in front. Otto allows Chelios to handle it. Now the USA will get out of the zone. Chris Chelios comes to center ice. Didn't get it very far into the Soviet zone before they turn and regroup the play. It's broken up by Janney, but he can't recover. Gignac plays it around the boards. There's Brett Hull over on right wing. Into Craig Janney. Back to Brett Hull for a quick shot that's well wide. Lamanov lost it. They set up Hull again, but Miller's pass didn't arrive in time, and the Soviets break over center ice. Crisscrossing the weave. It's dropped to Korolev, and his shot was blocked. Another drive is wide of the net. And Leach has played it around the boards. And there's Janney with a long pass through center ice. Kevin Miller couldn't get to it. The Americans set up again in their own zone with just over 13 minutes to play in the third period.
Soviets doing everything they can to open this game up, Jigs. They're trying some hitting. They're trying intimidation. They're starting to use sticks a little bit more. wait and see what the retaliation will be by the U.S.
Here's Tataranoff, long shot off Richter, loose puck, covered by Richter, was taking away from Galchenyuk, who was right on the doorstep.
Galchenyuk was silent in the second period. He led all Soviet shooters in the first period with 4 shots. Back out on the ice. He was a member of the '86 junior Soviet team, won the gold medal at Hamilton, Ontario, and Mike Richter, as he has been this whole game so far, outstanding, covering rebounds, clearing pucks around the net, making straight up saves for Team USA.
Big face-off, won by Roenick. Jimmy Johnson at back of his own goal. Nice help from the form of Roenick as he took the man, and Johnson takes the puck, feeding it to Hatcher to Roenick. Roenick trying to get through traffic, got the shot off and just over the crossbar. Here's Badano to Roenick. Roenick has it knocked off his stick. Soviets get over the U.S. line. The puck out of the skates of Kevin Hatcher, and now cleared by Roenick. And shot down the ice. Roenick takes exception to the way his teammate Granato had been handled in front of the players' bench. Meantime, Kozlov is over center ice. Okarov got checked at the blue line. Kravchuk held it in. Kozlov, oh, is he hammered by Olchuk. And Madano gets to him. The Soviets are taking the body. They're being punished as well. As Ed pointed out, there's a little more stick work going on. The puck shot well into the Soviet zone. Crowd yelling, Eddie, Eddie. Honor of Eddie Olchuk. He just got a chunk of Kravchuk, knocking him off his skates. Now Seamak at center ice. For Zamdov, Kasatonov. And at center, they feed it to right wing for Lomakin. He's tackled by Suter. USA is the chant. Here's Chelios. 11 and a half minutes to go in the third period. 1 goal separating the U.S. and the Soviets. Team USA on top. Soviets in the dark red uniforms have played it around the boards and down the ice. The automatic icing call is made. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Here's a look at the up-to-date standings. Canada undefeated with 7 points. Finland is second. The USA can move ahead of Finland with a win here tonight. The Soviets could tie the USA if they come back to win this. And you see the Czechs and the Swedes, each with only 2 points. In the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Ryan Leach from the point. Loaded, but just wide of the net. Here's Weinrich putting it back in the goal. Team USA's captain, Joel Otto. Taken on the boards by Zamdov. Otto down on the deck. Now back on his skates. Omaha knocking the puck loose. In and out of Zamdov's skates again. War in the trenches. Battle along the wall, as the players refer to it now. And here is Mironov up the head. Zamdov to Mironov. One wide of the net. Leach has it for the U.S. Ryan Leach, born in Corpus Christi, Texas, comes to center and fires one in. Goaltender Mikhail Shelnikov decides that he'll cover the puck and get a player change.
U.S. has taken the game now to the Soviets in some ways, Jigs. They're winning most of the faceoffs. They have controlled the faceoffs most of the night. They're also leading in the hitting department. They have out-hit the Soviet Union, and generally that springs them into action. Eddie Olchuk with a couple of hammering hits down in his own end of the ice 2 shifts ago. To put some more life back into Team USA when they were sagging somewhat under the pressure of the Soviets.
U.S. has been outshot 8-2 through the first 9.5 minutes of this third period. Zhitnik on the puck. Gusarov. Jimmy Johnson puts it back in the Soviet end of the ice. Alexei Gusarov. And now for the Quebec Nordique, the NHL. 5 players in the lineup tonight for the Soviets with NHL experience. Hatcher takes his man to the boards. One man they would like to have, as play is called here, one man they would like to have, according to some of the players, is Alexander Mogilny of the Buffalo Sabres. But he is still regarded as a deserter of the Soviet Army. In that reason is not welcome on the squad.
And three of them, Bure, Davidoff, and Zalepkin, they were dropped from the team because they refused to sign contracts that would bind them to the Soviet national team.
Fetisov was not selected. Still a little battle there with Coach Tikhonov. I guess the other major loss is Kamensky, who broke his leg in a warm-up game in Sweden, a game in Stockholm. He reportedly will go to the Quebec Nordic this coming NHL season. Renato has dumped the puck in. Soviets clear it out. There's Chelios. Puts one high in the air. Tatarnov has it here. Dropped it back. The outlet from Filimonov to Tatarnov over the line. The puck slipped away from him, and quickly Roenick finds Modano on left wing. Modano back to where Roenick had been, and Tatarnov clears the puck away. The Soviets trying to come through center ice. Nice defensive move as Galchenyuk got checked. Now Modano is over the line. A drive ricochets off Tatarnov's stick into the catching glove and then cleared aside, and play has been called by referee Don Koharski. Jeremy Roenick checking his chin. The goaltender has the puck safely cradled. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Here's the story at Chicago Stadium. 2-1 USA. Eddie Olchuk lines up at center. Mullen is on the right. LaFontaine on the left. Leach with a drive. Loose puck. Cleared aside. Joey Mullen can't get a stick on it. We welcome our audience in Canada. The Soviets have scored a goal at the 51-second mark of this third period, cutting the margin to 2-1. And Team USA has just been called for dumping the puck in on an offside. We have 8 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in this third period. The Soviets have stepped up the game somewhat.
They have, Jakes, here in the third period, but Mike Richter strong in goal all game long for Team USA. Some key players for the USA team coming up with some good efforts, but they're very short on the bench throughout most of the game.
Here's Sergei Fedorov shooting it well wide of Mike Richter. Leach is out on defense along with Weinrich for the U.S. Forward line of LaFontaine, Mullen, and Olchuk at the moment. Ryan Leach of the New York Rangers carries it through center ice. Can't get through the traffic, and the puck is cleared out by Fedorov. It's overled Alexei Kozlov here. Kasatonov, now the man moving in. Prokhorov knocked off the puck. Down the left side comes LaFontaine. At LaFontaine indeed turns on Kasatonov and played it toward the front of the net. And the Soviets move out through center ice. Quickly, Prokhorov over the line, dropped it to Kozlov. His pass to Fedorov, knocked away by Joel Otto. Held at the line. Long shot from Meredith, broken up by Otto, and he's worked it out to Eddie Olchuk. Olchuk, long drive, turned aside, then covered by Stalnikov, and there's no further play. 7 minutes, 58 seconds remaining in the third period. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Fontaine late in the second period, and the only goal by the Soviets coming in the first minute of play here in period 3. So Zamdov, Alexei Zamdov, and Aranov. Catcher has slapped it around the boards. In quickly, Dave Christian, Otto, and Kevin Miller, the forward line. Had been, but now Brown has taken Miller's spot in this unit. And the Soviets turn back at the blue line. Trying to dump it in, and Lomakin on the puck quickly. Taken to the boards by Weinrich. Now they get a shot off. That's blocked by Richter. Omaha here at the right point. They can't get the puck to him. Zamdov, what a player he's become. The best of the Soviet Union. A close-in attempt covered by Richter. There's no further play.
Lomakin with a chance on a rebound, but again, Mike Richter comes up with a fine stop. Very alert play by the goaltender. The Soviets dancing and moving the puck well. That's Andrei Lomakin. Puck off the backboards. U.S. having trouble clearing it. Here's the save. Lomakin from close in.
Zayath comes out to take the face-off. The Craig Janney for the U.S. Soviets won the draw. Zhitnik held it at the line and flipped it in toward the corner. Brett Hull reaches in. Can't dig it loose. Michael played it back in the net. Play Alec Gretzky trying to set up the man moving in. Didn't work. And it's cleared out by Chris Chelios. Craig Janney slips it inside the Soviet zone. Zaroff turns on Hull. Turned the puck over. Janney centered. Miller was there and couldn't get a shot away. Suter recovers at center ice. Up ahead to Craig Janney. He and Hull step over the line. Miller moves in off left wing. Back to Janney for a shot that's tipped wide. Miller slipped it in front again, and Gazarov covers up for the Soviet Union. Quickly up ice, Ravil Haidara to Kabelenko. He's over the line. Long shot is well wide of Richter. The puck is loose back of the net. The Soviets come up with it. Slipped it out in front, but couldn't tuck it by Richter. Now Janney brings Team USA in through center. 3-on-3, elected to dump it in right at the end of the shift. Just a little more than 6 minutes remaining in the third period at Chicago Stadium. Team USA 2, the Soviet Union 1 as Jeremy Roenick, the Blackhawk, puts it back in the net from Modano, and he couldn't center it in time. Fedorov is there. Right, Red Wing player, Sergei Fedorov. Out at the center ice, Kozlov was moving through, but now the puck is deflected back inside the Soviet line. Here's Alexei Kasatonov. The pass to Kozlov across 2 lines, and it's offside. From Chicago, this is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup.
Stalnikov on the right side. On the left, Mike Richter. What a matchup. A pitcher's duel, if you will. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the third period.
USA 1-0 lead at the end of the first period. 2-0 at the end of the second. Holding on here. 2-1 is your score. Team USA has never defeated the Soviet Union in a Labatt Canada Cup game. Back of the play, some stick work going on, and referee Don Koharski is taking Alexei Kasatonov off the ice. A slashing penalty. The U.S. built a 2-0 lead on a power play toward the end of the second period when LaFontaine scored. And now Kasatonov is in the box.
Not a smart play for the Soviet player to take. Alexei Kasatonov, 32 years old. Remember, he joined the New Jersey Devils around Christmas time in the 89-90 season. Played in 8 World Cups, 3 Canada Cups, 3 Olympic teams. And behind the play, there's a push in retaliation. Not a smart play, but Don Koharski, in all fairness, he let go an attempted punch moments ago by Jeremy Roenick in front of him, but he calls that on Kasatonov.
On the power play, Tim Taylor sends out a forward line of Jeremy Roenick, Brett Hull, and Mike Modano. Ryan Leach and Chris Chelios on the points. Team USA is forced back into the center ice zone before Chelios gave it to Leach. To Roenick, watched by Seaback as he made the pass to Chelios. He'll dump it wide. Modano went after it. Modano takes the body on Malahoff, knocked him off the puck, then Lomakin got checked. Here's Leach at the blue line, across to Chelios, to Ho, 1 times it turned aside. Stalnikov with his best save of this game. Now Brian Leach. Didn't get it to Chelios in time, so they'll set it up again, but inside the U.S. blue line. That was Seaback in forechecking. Now Lomakin picks up the forechecking role, and the puck went to Leach. 2 men back. This is Roenick off the left side. And coming late is Chelios, and he couldn't pull the trigger. Modano steps around to check, and the puck slipped away from him. Up with it is Seaback.
Throughout most of this hockey game, Jigs, the puck has not laid down flat too well. The ice has been used a lot. Both teams skated this morning. The Chicago Blackhawks are having training camp, so it may be some of the effects of a lot of use.
Here's LaFontaine with a pass to Janney. Yeah, I would agree with all the use and the warm weather in Chicago. Summer's last gasp has been a beauty. High 80s today and a clear, sunny day in Chicago. Zaroff got it to the line. Hatcher with a shot tipped in front. What a play by LaFontaine, and an excellent stop by Mikhail Stelnikov for the Soviet net. 30 seconds remaining in the U.S. power play. This is Kevin Hatcher of the Washington Capitals. Played his junior hockey at North Bay. Kevin Miller went to center, didn't work, and it shot down the ice. Soviets short-handed, so there's no call. Suter and Hatcher check their options and start out. LaFontaine cuts to the right. The pass in the other direction to Hatcher. Now to LaFontaine, but it's offside. All back with a face-off coming in the center ice zone.
Boy, a good look at the athletic ability of Pat LaFontaine. Ready to come out of the box in 7 seconds is Kasatonov, but Pat LaFontaine flying down the right wing side. He jumped in the air, tried to touch the puck ahead of him, was unable to do it, but he put himself offside.
Story of LaFontaine and his NHL situation well documented this offseason as it was late last NHL season. He's on the bench as Otto, Christian, and Doug Brown make up the forward line for Team USA. Vyacheslav Kozlov in the faceoff for the Soviets up with Sergei Fedorov. Teams are at 6 aside as the Soviets fill off the penalty against Kasatonov. Suter gets knocked down. The puck underneath him. Now it pops loose. A wraparound won't go as the Soviets look for the equalizer. Ray Suter out of the University of Wisconsin can't get it out of the zone. Chelios, also out of Wisconsin, gets it out this time. And back goes Kasatonov. Fedorov turning with it here. Brown forcing him in a little deeper. This is Igor Kravchuk. Kravchuk. The Soviets felt guilty bad when Mario Lemieux scored the Canada Cup winning goal in the last Labatt Canada Cup. Game 3 of that series in Hamilton, but here's Kozlov over the line. The right side is open. The centering pass picked up. The puck cleared by Brown. Team USA with 2.5 minutes to go in the third period, leading. Tipped the puck over the glass and play is called. US 2, the Soviets 1.
Good shift for Doug Brown. Good couple of good hits. There's Coach Tikkanen. Excuse me. Tikhonov. Tim Taylor. He has to be, I suppose, concerned with 2.5 minutes still going on the clock, and the Soviets putting on some offensive pressure.
We'll see Tikkanen here on Monday night. The Finns and the U.S. team meet. The final game of the round robin and of the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. Omaha lost the puck. Recovers. His pass up the far side was too far for Shamdov. Eric Weinrich with an outlet that finds its way to Eddie Olchuk. Olchuk now with the Winnipeg Jets has dumped it in. Greg Janney. Mullen in after it. That's Weinrich pinching. Got it away from Lamakin. Knocked to one knee as he moves it toward Joey Mullen to Ed Olchuk. Olchuk can't center it. This is Janney. Nice move. Janney with it again. The wraparound here doesn't work for Team USA. Inside the 2-minute mark remaining in the third period. Weinrich flipped to Joey Mullen and back to Brian Leach. Leach knocks it down the boards. Soviets would have played it and do before it gets to the goal line. Malahoff for the pass to Seaback. That doesn't work. Hatcher carries it back of his own goal for the U.S. Flips it up the right side. Got to it again through center ice, but he didn't have anybody open. Minute and a half to go. Puck cleared by Team USA. Down into the Soviet zone, and it is an icing call.
Just what the U.S. didn't need, Jags, an icing call at this particular point of the hockey game. Take a look down the Soviet bench. Tikhonov. He's been in this position before. Usually his team is in the leading position through the 80s, but since about 1989, the Soviet team has been slipping without some of the great scoring stars. Don Koharski telling the benches that's all the changes to be made. Wait and see at what point they may try. Usually they don't pull the goaltender.
No, that is a rule. Lutsiev in the middle. Kovalenko goes to the right side. Heineroff is on the left. For Team USA, they're going to make a switch here. Kevin Hatcher is trying to determine who is leaving the ice. Got to be one of the defensemen. It'll be Jimmy Johnson who leaves. Hatcher stays out.
Interesting that Koharski would let them change. It's a last change in favor of the Soviets.
Jeremy Roenick turned on Butziev to win the faceoff. Roenick pumps solidly back of the net, but Madonna open on right wing. Slips around one check and brings the U.S. through center ice. Roenick with him. 3 men back. The drop pass to Roenick is offside. And Roenick, Madonna had a little something going with Stelnikov. Roenick reacting to that. And the goaltender out waving his stick at Mike Madonna. Now some pushing of a more serious nature than we saw earlier. 1 minute and 11 seconds shows on the clock. Time remaining in this third period. Things simmer down.
Here's Mike Madonna. There's a good hit on Madonna. He put himself offside. Roenick and the goaltender have something going. There's a stab at the puck. Roenick turns back. He's been a thorn in the side of not just the goaltender, Sletnikov, but also the whole Soviet team.
Now Otto on the face-off. The puck controlled by the Soviets. Asatonov down the right side. Pulls up. Trying to center one. Got a second effort playing it around Suter. Up comes Chris Chelios. His pass is off Joel Otto. And well wide of the Soviet goal. Icing. 55 seconds remaining in this game.
Goaltender watching the bench as if he was looking for something. Something they just don't do. Although the assistant coaches are now talking.
The assistants are Igor Dmitriev and Vladimir Yursinov. Dmitriev coaches the Soviet wings. Yursinov, the Dynamo team. Tim Taylor seeing his team up 2-1, but a face-off in their own zone.
Tikhonov keeps gesturing, Jigs, as if they've got the bench door open. I think he wants the goaltender out. Now the goaltender isn't looking at him. He keeps gesturing. He wants him off. The goalie's not looking at the bench.
He can't count either. He's checking all of his teammates. He should have been able to count 6. They've taken a man off. Kozlov has gone back to the players' bench. Fedorov, Shamnov, and Prokhorov up front. You see 55.6. That is the new rule in the NHL. The time clocks in the final minute will tick down in tenths of seconds. Otto took the man. The puck comes loose. Eddie Olchak got it to the line. The Soviets hold it in. Fedorov feeds the point. Kravchuk, big drive, is blocked at the defense, and up with it is Dave Christian. Fedorov back to the Soviets. Chelios puts it inside the USSR zone with 40 seconds to go. Asatonov flips it up the boards. Joel Otto gets to it. He's giving it to Ed Olchak. To Otto at center ice. Otto away from Fedorov. 27 seconds left. Team USA on the verge of beating the Soviets for the first time ever in Canada Cup play. Prokhorov is over the line. What a hit by Hatcher. 13 seconds left. The Soviets up with it. The shot from Kravchuk is cradled and held by Richter, but referee Don Koharski. It's between Hatcher and Prokhorov.
What a timely hit by Kevin Hatcher. Play the body, take him out, eliminate him. Richter comes up with another save. There's the play ahead. There's the hit by Kevin Hatcher on Prokhorov. Save here by Richter. That's an easy one for him in this game.
Hatcher stays on the ice. Ryan Leach will be his defense mate. The Soviets huddling at the bench around Viktor Tikhonov. He has coached in every Labatt Canada Cup tournament. 61 years of age now. 12 consecutive years his Red Army team won the title of the Soviet Union, the Elite League.
He did play hockey. A lot of people don't realize that he played 296 games in the Elite League, Soviet Union.
talking strategy with his team.
Important thing here, of course, with 7 seconds just to win the faceoff. Imagine you'll see Joel Otto in the center ice spot.
The Soviets have outshot Team USA 12-5 in this third period. Outshot USA 16-6 in the first. Yes, I'll tell you what, there will be some walking wounded after this game. The hitting has been prominent, and the crowd has loved every second of it. They're standing at Chicago Stadium.
Extra attacker on the ice.
7.6 seconds. Team USA, Granato. He is out there along with Roenick, Leach, Hatcher, and Otto. The Soviets with all 6 men inside the U.S. zone. Fedorov will take the draw. Zamdov and Kasatonov up front. Butziev has dropped back. Now he'll go wide on the right side.
If you wonder what the confusion, Tim Taylor has not had a lot of opportunity. These players have not played together that much. They haven't been in this situation. They're not sure. They want to be sure that they're in the right place when the puck is dropped.
Big face-off here. Joel Otto was leaning in to Fedorov. Renato and Seamak are on the far side of the circle. The Soviets win the draw. Seamak trying to step out of the corner. Zamdov centers. That one wide of the net. Comes outside the blue line. Team USA wins.
That guarantees them the medal round. The fans here, of course, have been on their feet for the last couple of minutes.
Richter being congratulated by his teammates. A brilliant goaltending performance by Richter. Faced 37 shots. Viktor Tikhonov isn't going to stay around for the presentations. He waved an arm as in disgust toward the officials and Team USA, and then stalked off the ice. Here are the awards presentation.
The Labatt Player of the Game for the Soviet Union team will receive an Inuit carving courtesy of Canadian Tire is number 26, Alexei Zamahanov. The Labatt Player of the Game for Team USA will receive a Canon Futura camera is number 1, Mike Richter.
Final score at Chicago Stadium. Team USA 2, USSR 1. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup.
You got a Chelios and Zamgoff, 26.
Chicago, the U.S. over the Soviets 2-1 for the first time in the history of U.S. participation in the Labatt Canada Cup. A win over the Soviets. It wasn't easy. Early in the game, Team USA backing in a lot, almost to the hash marks, almost right into Mike Richter several times, but they recovered nicely, did what they had to do defensively, and win this game.
I think I remember back to the time when the coaches of the Team USA jigs talked about some of the individual efforts that they were going to need if they were going to succeed in the Canada Cup. And they talked about Mike Richter, who has been assigned the goaltending duties throughout this tournament so far, that he would have to take one game. Somewhere he would have to win one game, and this one he did.
Oh, did he ever. He was brilliant throughout. He got a little bit of luck from time to time. The only blemish, of course, was the goal by Zamnov early in the third period.
A pretty goal set up here by the Soviets. There was a quick wrist shot, and you could see the Team USA, the defenseman was lined up in front of him. I'm not so sure that Richter didn't get a very good look at it. There's the shot rebound. That was by Team USA. This is Pat LaFontaine. You'll see him come in on the right side of the net as the goaltender faces out. That was Pat LaFontaine's goal. So a pretty emotional hockey game. An extremely big win for Team USA. It guarantees them.
That goal by LaFontaine turned out to be the game winner. The Soviets thought they had one taken away. This was in the second period. Richter.
The kind of action that we saw. Look at this, turning and blistering it. Still on his feet, still in possession of his balance.
And he, of course, selected as the U.S. star of the game, or Labatt player of the game for the U.S. I don't think there was any doubt who it would be tonight.
Well, he was truly the best player on the ice, Jigs, and it was quite a display of goaltending.
So Team USA moves into sole possession of second place. The only loss was to Team Canada, undefeated. Their win over the Czechoslovakia squad tonight gives them 7 points. The Americans are next with 6th, and Finland with 5 points. And the United States has won this by a final score of 2-1. Modano and LaFontaine with the goals here.